TFX to everyone, welcome to episode 4, this time with Young Justice Seasons 1 and 2. I'm going to review the show over 2 videos because it has 4 seasons. It's not confirmed if it will get a 5th one. I really wish it does, considering how much I love this show, but we'll see. So this video will cover seasons 1 and 2, while the next one will cover 3 and 4. I'll say this was something new because a lot of the superhero shows I watched before this focused mainly on heroes like Batman and Superman. But this is the first show I watched that focused on the younger heroes instead, similar to Teen Titans. As usual, let's start with the opening, or rather the main theme. I love it. It gradually builds up and the graphics that go along with it are also great. Also, with each episode, the opening is slightly different, where it shows glimpses of scenes in the episode. Yeah, this theme is amazing. Now let's get into the show. Each episode has timestamps that show the time and location. Season 1 spans a period of around 6 months, from July 2010 to January 2011. The first 2 episodes, Independence Day and Fireworks. It starts with 4 young heroes fighting ice-themed supervillains alongside their mentors. Batman and Robin fight Mr. Freeze in Gotham, and I love how we first hear Robin's laughter. In Star City, Speedy and Green Arrow fight Icicle Jr. Aqualad and Aquaman fight Killer Frost at Pearl Harbor. Finally, in Central City, Kid Flash and his uncle, The Flash, fights Captain Cold. This is not a random attack. Everything leads to something in this show, but some events happen in the comics, so if you guys want a full timeline breakdown, I can make a separate video. But for this, I'll stick to animation. The 4 sidekicks think that they can join the Justice League.
Today's the day. Today's the day.
Today is the day!
Or at least have access to their HQ. How about no? They get a tour of the Hall of Justice in Washington, D.C., which is neither private...
You've been granted access few others get.
Oh, really?
...nor the HQ. In fact, only Speedy knew about the Watchtower.
To the real thing! An orbiting satellite called the Watchtower.
Obviously, they're not happy, especially Speedy.
I thought I was his partner. Not anymore.
The League receives notices of 2 incidents, a fire at Project Cadmus and Woltan trying to blot out the sun. While the League deals with Woltan, the 3 sidekicks decide to investigate the fire, which I can't blame them, they got disrespected. Cadmus is a genetics lab, which Robin finds out by hacking the League system. When they arrive, Aqualad sees a horned figure inside the elevator, which is suspicious as it shouldn't be running, and it's a high-speed express elevator. They find a huge underground facility where they discover creatures known as genomorphs.
They call them genomorphs. Whoa, look at the stats on these things.
This wasn't known until now because some of them were made to produce power, meaning this facility isn't on the grid. However, they are discovered and attacked by Guardian, the chief of security, but not before finding out about Project KR that is on Sublevel 52. It turns out to be a clone of Superman named Superboy, grown in 16 weeks, and these creatures called genomes feed him knowledge telepathically. Now, Mark Desmond, the head of Cadmus, says,
"Better than getting on the wrong side of the Cadmus board of directors, believe me."
Our heroes decide to release Superboy,
This is wrong. We can't leave him like this.
Set him free.
who under the genome's control takes
Sorry!
them down. On to episode 2. Mark Desmond meets with the board of directors, who are known as the Light, the main villain group. They plan to clone the 3 heroes and make the clones obey them while disposing of the originals. But it doesn't work because they manage to convince Superboy to help them. However, he does not have all of Superman's powers, such as heat vision.
I don't seem to have heat vision, so I suppose helping is my only option.
And flight. They get cornered by an army of xenomorphs until one of them, Double X, helps them and frees Guardian's mind. It turns out that he started the fire and he was the one Aqualad saw, as he believes that Superboy is their hope for freedom. However, Mark Desmond drinks a vial of Project Blockbuster, transforming him into Blockbuster. And fights the Four. They defeat him by bringing the building down on him, but this draws the attention of the League. Superboy and Superman meet for the first time, which doesn't go too well. The League isn't happy, but the Four keep their ground, and this leads to one of my favorite lines.
Why let them tell us what to do? It's simple. Get on board, or get out of the way.
3 days later, we see them in Mount Justice, the League's old HQ. They become a covert team.
Today is the day.
With Red Tornado as the supervisor, Black Canary as the trainer, and Batman provides missions. We also get introduced to a fifth member, Miss Martian, Martian Manhunter's niece. And I love how this sets up a thing between her and Superboy.
I like your t-shirt.
A little nitpick though. You would think they would be called Young Justice, but no, they're only named The Team, which is odd. Cadmus undergoes reconstruction with Guardian in charge and Dr. Amanda Spence as the acting chief scientist. Before you know it, it switches to a meeting between the members of the Light. And I love how this gives all the feelings that you don't want to mess with them, and they always have backup plans.
We have subtler means of control.
Remember this because it's very important. Episode 3, Welcome to Happy Harbor. We see Speedy fighting Brick after he went solo until he's joined by Robin, Kid Flash, and Aqualad. They defeat Brick, and the three try to convince Speedy to join them, which he rejects.
Your Junior Justice League is a joke. I don't want any part of it.
The team doesn't have missions, so they socialize, starting with a cave tour, which the League ditched because it got compromised in the past. The cave is given to them because no one would expect them to hide in plain sight. They introduce themselves to each other. Calderon, or Calder, is Aqualad, Wally West is Kid Flash, and Miss Martian has two names, a Martian name, McGann Moores, and an Earth name, Megan. Robin and Superboy don't contribute as Robin is forbidden to reveal his identity by Batman, and Superboy doesn't have a name. Basically, every time you see Robin in civilian attire, he wears a pair of sunglasses. Now, they don't get along well because Miss Martian doesn't quite understand Earth customs, so when she talks with the others telepathically, it gets on their bad side, especially Superboy's, given his experience with the genomes.
We'll find you an Earth name too.
Get out of my head!
Megan gets the idea of taking the team out on the bioship, an organic Martian space shuttle which has a camouflage mode.
Camouflage mode.
Very cool. They then get asked to investigate a disturbance at the Happy Harbor power plant, where they encounter a tornado before meeting Mr. Twister, who easily kicks their ass. Miss Martian assumes it's Red Tornado.
Mr. Twister is Red Tornado in disguise!
Well, guess what? No, it's not. And Superboy is not happy about this misguidance.
You tricked us into thinking Twister was Red Tornado.
Really, so far they can't work together. All of them except for Miss Martian chase him down, which again does not go well until Miss Martian uses telepathy to convey her plan. She comes in disguised as Red Tornado, and together they destroy Twister, who is an android with a man inside, also an android, so Miss Martian crushes him with a rock.
McGann, no!
Unknown to the team, through the android's eye, two men, Bromstick and Tio Moro, are talking about tracking Red Tornado.
The tracking program was operational, and that the real tornado was somewhere.
Our heroes know that Twister was after Red Tornado. This discussion doesn't get anywhere, but I love how it shows them becoming a team, and Superboy does apologize to Miss Martian.
Sorry.
Episode 4, Drop Zone. In Santa Prisca, the cult of Cobra has taken over the Venom facility, and it leads to a fight between Bane and Mammoth, who gets infused with a formula, turning him into a monster. It's horrific as his skin gets torn. Though he beats the hell out of Bane. Meanwhile, the team approaches Santa Prisca for their first mission. Venom is an illegal super steroid, but the shipping has stopped despite the facility still working, so they must find out what is going on. Problem is, they don't have a leader. Superboy and Miss Martian don't want to lead. Robin thinks he's the best person to lead.
This team needs a leader.
And it's you.
As he has the most crime fighting experience.
You're not Batman.
Closest thing we've got.
But he has a habit of disappearing, mostly to scout ahead.
Okay, Rob, now what? Man, I hate it when he does that.
Bane assists them with a secret entrance into the facility where they discover Cobra preparing to ship Venom, though the buyer is unknown. Robin and Kid Flash discover a Cobra Venom formula, a mix between Venom and Project Blockbuster that is 3 times as potent as Venom and permanent. Question is, how did Cobra get the Blockbuster formula? A helicopter lands, revealing the buyer as Sportsmaster, and he says,
We can go mano a mano with the Justice League.
the team and Bane ambush them with Robin going after Cobra and Shimmer, but are forced to retreat. They successfully retreat thanks to Aqualad's orders, and they agree that Aqualad should lead, as Robin isn't quite ready yet.
You were born to lead this team. Maybe not now, but soon.
They go to stop the shipment from leaving the island until Bane backstabs them, which does not work, and Superboy takes him out in the greatest way.
Finally. Drop him.
After this, they destroy the Cobra Venom shipment along with the facility. However, Sportsmaster managed to save 1 vial of Cobra Venom, which the Light can reverse engineer, and they now see the team as legitimate threats. Basically, things are pushing forward for both the heroes and the villains. Episode 5, Schooled. Superboy has been looking out to Superman, but Superman has been avoiding him, even after they saved some civilians on the collapsing bridge.
Help me figure that out. Batman's got that covered. Yeah, I know, but...
Superboy does not take this well, until he must attend a training session taught by Black Canary. She kicks both Kid Flash and Superboy's ass. Even though Superboy has superpowers, Black Canary is a better fighter. Then Batman assigns a mission. Earlier, the League fought an android that could learn their abilities, meaning it has their powers. They defeat and dismantle it, which they recognize to be the work of Professor Ivo, believed to be dead. The parts are shipped to Star Labs in Boston and Manhattan along with decoy trucks. The team escort the real ones but are attacked by robot monkeys. Despite their efforts, the cargo is taken. Also, Superboy took laser beams to the eyes. He goes rogue due to anger.
I don't need help! Don't want any!
And Robin finds out that the monkeys are headed for Gotham. Aqualad sends Kid Flash to join him since he's fast enough. Meanwhile, in Metropolis, Bruce Wayne tries to convince Clark Kent to not avoid Superboy, but it doesn't work. And he doesn't like being called Superboy's father. Superboy catches up to the monkeys and meets Ivo before getting his ass kicked by the reassembled Amazo. They take the fight to Gotham Academy, aka Robin's school, and I love how when he sees a picture of Superman on a locker, he just punches it. Robin and Kid Flash come to his rescue, and the 3 fight Amazo in the gym. I love how they take down Amazo. As Superboy finally learns to channel his anger.
Access Black Canary.
Wanna see me channel that anger?
Now, Kid Flash almost got crushed by Amazo until he's saved by an arrow shot out of nowhere. Amazo is dismantled again, though Ivo escapes, and they think that the arrow was Green Arrow's, which it wasn't. They then assumed it was Speedy's, and we see Superboy ready for training.
I'm ready.
Episode 6, Infiltrator. Speedy, now Red Arrow, infiltrates a facility on Infinity Island to rescue Dr. Serling Roquette, who was forced to work on a project by the League of Shadows. Problem is, she finished it. And we also see two characters, Professor Oho and Sensei. I love how most of the team are at the beach while Wally suffers on his first day of sophomore year. After school, he rushes back in his beach attire only to see a new teammate, Artemis.
Artemis, your new teammate.
She's my new protege.
And his niece. The project dubbed the Fog is a nanotech weapon that can hack any system while being able to destroy anything, such as concrete and steel. In fact, it destroys the Miami Beach University. The team protects Roquette as she makes a virus to destroy it, but Artemis sort of takes them off, especially Kid Flash.
I do not need attitude from the newbie who drove Red Arrow off the team.
That is so not on me.
Oh, it turns out she saved them from Amazo. They ask Roquette to locate the Fog online, and after she does, Robin and Superboy go after her, but the Shadow now knows where she is, so they get attacked by Cheshire, though they drive her away. Meanwhile, Robin and Superboy track the Fog to Philadelphia, only to see Star Labs destroyed. At the new location, Cheshire attacks with Black Spider and Hook, only to be tricked by Miss Martian. Now, Robin and Superboy find out the next target is Wayne Tech, which provides the Batcave system, the same used by the League, so yeah, this is bad. Cheshire goes after Roquette and Artemis pursues her, but is taken down. Cheshire corners Roquette, but she uploads the virus to Robin, who destroys the Fog, while Superboy defeats Oho. As such, she doesn't kill her, as there's no reason to. When she's outside, Artemis knocks off her mask and it sets up a mystery as she recognizes her and lets her go. She officially joins the team. Next, Red Arrow confronts her saying the niece thing is a lie, but he won't expose her, and warns her to not hurt his friends. Although the Light failed to steal Wayne Tech data,
so it's fortunate we have an operative on the inside.
Dun dun dun! Episode 7, Denial. Kent Nelson, 106 years old, visits a fortune-telling shop run by Madame Xanadu as he wants to contact his deceased wife, Inza, but she's a fraud. However, he gets abducted by Abracadabra. In the cave, Calder and Superboy are sparring while McGann and Artemis discuss who they should date. McGann with Calder and Artemis with Wally. Robin is on a mission with Batman in Gotham. Also, Artemis developed an interest in Superboy in Infiltrator in a weird way.
That boy.
They decide to help investigate Kent Nelson's disappearance. He was Dr. Fate in the Justice Society of America, a precursor to the League, and guards the Helmet of Fate. Red Tornado gives him the key to the Tower of Fate in Salem, and Wally claims to believe in magic to impress Megan since she's a believer.
Help find him.
Me too. More like Dr. Fake.
They arrive with nothing in sight, but we see a cat, Tico, and his master, Clarion. Abracadabra tortures Kent for access to the tower. They enter and is greeted with a test of faith. Wally lies that they're true believers, and they get a lava pit. Meanwhile, Clarion also enters the tower. The lava disappears after they reveal their true mission, and Artemis is furious at Wally for lying. He's using science to control what he can't comprehend, so believing in magic means throwing away that control. Next, Kent's walking stick appears, and Wally and Artemis grab it, but get taken elsewhere. Meanwhile, Kent is tortured after refusing to take the villains to the helmet. He escapes with Wally and Artemis using his staff. We learn that Clarion is a Lord of Chaos, a powerful magical being. They enter a space with a giant bell but are attacked. Kent rings the bell, allowing himself, Wally, and Clarion to enter the top of the tower. However, Kent is hit by Clarion. Before he dies, he encases them in a magic bubble and tells Wally to believe in magic, while the others are defeated by Abracadabra. Wally puts on the helmet. His soul and Kent's are brought into it. The spirit of Nabu, a Lord of Order, lies in it. So he controls Wally's body and defeats Clarion by attacking Tico, as they can't stay in the real world without an anchor. A host for Nabu and Tico for Clarion. Superboy also hilariously takes Abracadabra down.
Show's over.
Kent offers to stay inside the helmet so that Wally can take it off, but before this he mentions,
"Find your own little Spitfire."
Wally takes it back as souvenir, another shtick of his, and still claims to not believe in magic. This also sets up a thing between him and Artemis, but it's very subtle. Episode 8, Downtime. The team minus Artemis are defeated by Clayface until Batman comes. This is because Cowder isn't fully committed to the surface. In Atlantis, Aquaman tells Cowder about a dinner hosted by him and Queen Mira. We also get his backstory. In the past, Aquaman fought Ocean Master but was defeated. Before he could kill him, Cowder and Garth, students at the Conservatory of Sorcery, bought time for Aquaman to turn the tide. Thus, he gave them an offer to be his protege. Garth declined while Cowder accepted, becoming Aqualad. He finds Garth and Tula practicing and invites Tula to the dinner. She agrees, but...
You have to tell him.
In the Science Center, a giant starfish creature is frozen for millennia, still alive. The others also spend some downtime. Megan is making dinner and Superboy is staring at a blank TV. He helps her prepare dinner, but she forgets he only has 2 hands. Next, Black Manta and his men plant bombs. In Gotham, Dick Grayson, aka Robin, is practicing, mad at Batman for only talking to Aqualad, and cracks a wall with a punch. They get along again through basketball. Now, Cowder considers coming back, but it's been 2 months since he left, so he can't be in Tula or Garth's class. We also see Prince Orm, Aquaman's younger half-brother. In Central City, Wally celebrates Jay Garrick's birthday, and he's the fastest at eating a ton of ice cream. Queen Mara announces her pregnancy before Aquaman is called for a mission. Cowder decides to stay with Tula. However...
Garth and I, we are together.
Oof. They are interrupted by an attack by Black Manta's crew and realize that his target is the starfish. By the way, Aqualad's tattoos are visible because he didn't master the high levels of sorcery. Artemis gets accepted into Gotham Academy on a full Wayne scholarship, which she didn't apply for. She doesn't want to go, but her mother threatens her.
You're going, or you give up your extracurriculars.
Might work, if you're not in the wheelchair. She changes her mind as her mother just wants the best for her. Now, Black Manta tries to steal the starfish, but Cowder and Garth stop him.
I summon the power of the Tempest!
So he blows it up. A piece survives and is regenerating, but they can no longer keep it in Atlantis, so they decide to send it to the surface. Now Aqualad has chosen the surface and congratulates Garth and Tula. He asks if they thought about what would have happened if Garth became Aqualad.
Never.
No, neither have I.
He returns in time for a mission. Meanwhile, Black Manta reports to the light.
Execute Plan B.
You did well. Everything falls into place.
Episode 9, Bereft, starts very bizarrely. The team is scattered in Bialia with no memories of the past 6 months. Miss Martian sees Superboy on a rampage and thinks he's Superman from the S on his shirt. Next, in her cabin, Kid Flash and Artemis are there and she mentions her father before escaping from Bialian soldiers. Miss Martian recalls a memory of Superboy and her serving cookies to the team before being called for a mission. Aqualad isn't there, as this takes place in downtime. Realizing this, she goes to locate the others. Meanwhile, Kid Flash stops to replenish due to his accelerated metabolism, but finds his food stash empty. Miss Martian regroups with them and they go to find Robin and Superboy, who a hooded man, Simon, takes down with telepathy. The 3 find Robin, and of course, he only knows Kid Flash. Oh, by the way, Kid Flash's dark suit is stealth tech. Their memories are very fragmented, so Miss Martian pieces them together and they know why they're here, along with Aqualad. Batman sent them to investigate a power surge in the Bialian desert where extraterrestrial readings were detected. Bialia is a rogue country ruled by Queen Bee. Scientists perform tests on Superboy and a mysterious sphere which seems to react to his pain. They find Aqualad, who's dehydrated and only Miss Martian can do anything, but she wants to find Superboy as he didn't exist 6 months ago, hence the rampage. Upon sensing his pain, Miss Martian flies off, sneaks in, and turns off the torture device, but is detected by Simon, who turns out hacked into their telepathic link to wipe their memories. They enter a mental battle while the others get Aqualad away. Simon gets the upper hand, but Superboy is freed by Sphere. He's transported to the mental realm after touching Miss Martian's hand. She restores his memories.
Kick his butt.
However, her powers go out of control and create a tornado. Superboy and Miss Martian defeat Simon together. They try to kiss, but Sphere interrupts, which they keep. While Aqualad...
Who are you? And how did you get inside my head?
Simon reports to the light that he lost both Sphere and Superboy, and a female voice says how their new partner's delivery system was functional, and...
Tech that will put the Sphere, and perhaps even the Superboy, to shame.
Episode 10, Targets. The peace summit between North and South Malaysia and Taipei has broken down, so they decided to bring in a neutral arbitrator. However, Red Arrow has intel that Cheshire will kill the arbitrator. He contacts Aqualad for a height, 5'6".
Do you require backup?
Please. The last thing I need is the Junior Justice League.
Yeah, he's an ass at this point. He finds her by scanning the height of every woman there. She attacks with first a friggin' RPG, and then tries to storm it, but is stopped by Red Arrow before being arrested. Then we meet the arbitrator, Lex Luthor, and his bodyguard, Mercy. He vouches for Red Arrow not for altruistic reasons. Now, the assassination attempt has only made each side blame the other for it. He wants to hire Red Arrow to find out what the Shadow was after.
Your money has blood on it, and I'm not here to make a buck.
Not surprised. At Mount Justice, Superboy is working on his bike until he and Miss Martian prepare for their first day of school, which they need to blend in and have names.
Meet Megan Morse.
While for Superboy, she suggests Connor and Martian Manhunter suggests Kent as his last name.
The late Kent Nelson.
Of course.
He blends in by...
Will this work?
In Taipei, Red Arrow questions Cheshire, who just flirts with him, until she's saved by Sportsmaster.
Oh, it had to be you.
He tracks them to their HQ, where we see Ray Shao Gu. He spies on them, but Ray sees them and gets overpowered by Cheshire and Sportsmaster.
More like Broken Arrow.
In Happy Harbor, this kid, Marvin, is skateboarding until Connor picks him up and questions his shirt. It's hilarious as everyone is wearing superhero shirts, so he could have just wore his shirt like usual. We meet Mal Duncan, a jock, Wendy, a cheerleader, and Lucas Carr, a teacher. Now, Red Arrow barely escapes and calls for help.
I may possibly be in over my head.
You think? Back in Happy Harbor, the class talks about Malaysia, where Connor gives a concise history and asks,
But why are they fighting? They're all humans. I mean, relations, right?
This is similar to racism. Speaking of racism, Megan says the Green Martians discriminate against the White Martians and claims to be green. Cheshire infiltrates the Peace Summit, but Aqualad intervenes, resulting in a fight. The security forces Aqualad and Red Arrow against the Shadow. Back at school, Megan tries out for cheerleading and gets a tub of water. Connor does not react well, but it's an initiation ritual. One of the cheerleaders, Karen, plays a bigger role next season. Connor carries Megan's books.
You're carrying my books.
What, you want them to get wet?
Back to the fight. This is where it gets interesting because Sportsmaster mentions the team's mission in Bialia, which he wasn't present for.
Or Bialia. How did you? Let's just say I have an inside source.
They stop the attack and we see that Mercy has a cybernetic arm. The leaders thank Lexi for saving them, don't ask why, which leads to the treaty being signed. Regarding the mole, Aqualad decides to investigate quietly to not tip them off if they exist. And Red Arrow actually respects the team, but it can't end without a meeting between the villains.
And thus another corner of the world sees the light.
Episode 11, Terrors. Superman and Martian Manhunter are fighting the Terror Twins, Tommy and Tuppence. They're hit into a warehouse and get strapped with inhibitor collars that inhibit their power. Superboy and Miss Martian then come in disguise as them. They're sent to Bell Rev Penitentiary with Icicle Jr. and Mr. Freeze. Now, remember the attack in the first episode? Well, the villains easily got taken down, and they all want to be sent to Bell Rev, so Superboy and Miss Martian go undercover to investigate. Ugh. Anyways, they meet the warden Amanda Waller and Professor Hugo Strange, the prison psychiatrist. The collars can also zap them if needed.
Bell Rev's walls are thick enough to hold Superman.
Now, Miss Martian talks to Superboy telepathically as the collars are pre-programmed to inhibit specific powers, so hers doesn't inhibit telepathy. Superboy shares a cell with Junior while Miss Martian is with Killer Frost. We also see new faces like Riddler and Junior's father, Icicle Sr. Junior has papa issues, which Superboy has too. They get into a fight and Professor Oho almost blows Superboy's cover.
He's Tommy Terror!
He's Tommy Terror.
The Ice villains are planning a breakout. New prison uniforms are distributed as the breakout's due soon. They inform Aqualad, who is with Red Tornado, but they want to know the details first. The twins attend a therapy session with Strange, but it only ticks Tommy off as they talk about his father figure.
Or maybe Tommy refuses to live in Tuppence' stupid fantasy world where every problem's solved in half an hour.
In the laundry room, the villains get what they need. They account for the location of the entire league except for Red Tornado.
Even if he does show, he can't handle all of us alone.
Freeze stages a fight with Senior and is knocked out before being taken to Waller. However, they can't contact Killer Frost, so Tommy offers his assistance.
Got the psychic thing in utero. So you talk to me, I talk to Sis talks to Frost.
Freeze uses Ice Tech to break his collar, overpowers Waller, and turns off all collars, resulting in a riot. Worse, Miss Martian blows her cover.
Superboy, I think my cover's...
Despite on lockdown, the Ice villains use their powers to make the walls brittle for the other inmates to break, and the uniforms have thermal tech to protect them from the cold. They try to break the walls separating the male and female wings, but Superboy tricks Junior into helping him turn the collars back on, neutralizing most of the inmates. He also tricks them into fighting as allies while he breaks down the wall and defeats Devastation and Killer Frost after seeing Miss Martian frozen. She breaks out before Superboy kisses her, and Junior's reaction.
Dude, that's your sister!
And here.
What? Wait, is she... And are you... Oh, Dad's gonna kill me.
Now, is the issue over? Not exactly, as Riddler escaped, Hugo Strange becomes the new warden, and it turns out he smuggled in the Ice Tech.
But the main objectives were all reached.
The light should be quite pleased.
Episode 12, Home Front. Artemis wakes up on her first day of school and recalls her older sister Jade leaving 6 years ago.
Sorry, sis. Mom's not getting out of prison anytime soon, and I refuse to live in this house with just Dad.
At school, she's greeted by Bet, her new student liaison, and then Dick shows up.
We'll laugh about this someday.
Along with Barbara Gordon.
Dick? What was that about?
Nothing, Barbara. Just being friendly to the new girl.
At the cave, Miss Martian and Superboy enjoy their relationship secretly while Aqualad investigates the mole situation. Later, Artemis approaches the teleporter phone booth, a Zeta tube that teleports them via Zeta beams before Robin shows up.
How random that you're in Gotham City instead of Star City where your Uncle Green Arrow lives.
They enter the cave only to see it ablaze and invaded by unseen assailants. They retreat while evading fireballs and tidal waves. They are unable to contact their teammates or the League. Robin downloads the cave blueprints before they climb into the air vent. They evade more attacks before Robin disables the heat and motion sensors. The security footage recorded the invasion, but not the invaders. They sneak into the library to use a secret passage, but...
Artemis, Robin.
It's Red Tornado!
Well, she's half right.
Yes on the red, no on the tornado!
We finally see the invaders, Red Torpedo, who controls water, and Red Inferno, who controls fire. They escape but are told to surrender in 10 minutes or their friends are dead. In the hangar, Miss Martian and Aqualad are in a fire cage. Sphere is stuck in the wall. Kid Flash and Superboy are stuck in twisted chunks of metal. They face the androids, but since it's the two without superpowers against androids on par with Red Tornado, I love how the whole time Robin is calm while Artemis is panicking.
You seem distraught.
Distraught? Bagan is dying! We have no powers, and I'm down to my last arrow!
Until they realize that the androids are machines. So what's more effective than an EMP? They make the device with Kid Flash's help, but it has to be plugged to the main generator, which is in the hangar. While Kid Flash distracts the androids, they sneak back and plug the device to the generator, but the circuit's incomplete. The androids spot them and take down Robin, while Artemis used up her last arrow. Alone with no arrows, is it over for the team?
In this family, it's every girl for herself.
That might have been true about our family, but I found a new family.
As such, she pretends to surrender and uses the souvenir arrow to complete the circuit, activating the EMP. Red Tornado comes, but the EMP effects wear off. After reaching out to Red Inferno, Red Tornado's eyes glow red, and he turns on them by sucking the air out of the room. By the time they wake up, all 3 androids are gone.
Gone. All 3 of them.
Episode 13, Alpha Male. Mayor Hamilton Hill goes tiger hunting until a gorilla with a minigun appears. After the cave attack, while the damage is being fixed, the team wants answers. It gets worse when Superboy hears Aqualad telling Batman the possibility of a mole within the team, and Tornado could be it.
You knew? That android and his maniac family nearly killed McGann!
Understandably, the team isn't happy.
I sought to protect the team from...
Protect us from what? Knowledge that might have saved our lives?
Now, Tornado is gone, so they'll have rotating supervisors. First is Captain Marvel, or Shazam. Batman sends them to investigate a series of guerrilla attacks, and I love how Superboy shoos the spear away.
Go.
Captain Marvel joins too.
Translation, he blames us for Red Fiasco. Doesn't trust us.
Totally. They arrive in India and split up as nobody listens to Aqualad.
The 3 of us started this team because the Justice League was keeping secrets from us.
Or did you forget that?
He and Captain Marvel find where Mayor Hill was attacked, where he second guesses his decision of withholding intel. The team is then attacked by Cobra Venom enhanced elephants, wolves, vultures, and crocodiles, wearing inhibitor collars. After ripping off the collars, the elephants leave. The attack was planned, but Aqualad is unable to contact the others. Captain Marvel helps him realize that he must take command, like Batman. He pursues a tiger he saw earlier to help it, but is subdued. Miss Martian links them up, but they bicker until...
But until that time, I am in command here.
Good. In a lab, Captain Marvel is strapped to an operating table with a collar that paralyzes him from the neck down. An unseen figure and Monsieur Malak prepare to remove his brain for study. The team finds the lab too and works together to deactivate the barrier. After fighting some animals, they face Monsieur Malak. The captor turns out to be the Brain, and the tiger stops him from cutting Captain Marvel's head open until the team shows up with the White Wolf.
It's the Brain!
I can see it's a brain.
Not a brain, the Brain.
During the fight, Captain Marvel and the tiger are freed, but the Brain and Monsieur Malak escape. They free all the animals with Mr. Tawny, the tiger's help. Superboy keeps the White Wolf, who he names as Wolf.
The source of the tip was Sportsmaster.
What? You can't trust him.
They also accept that as leader, Aqualad made the right decision, so they keep him as leader.
In which case I did not wish to alert the traitor.
I hate to say it, but makes sense.
Would have saved you the trouble if you thought about it earlier. Captain Marvel returns home to his uncle saying the team is more fun to hang out with than the League. Why? Because he's Billy Batson, a 10-year-old.
Shazam!
Episode 14, Relevation, is a very important episode. A giant plant attacks Metropolis and the culprit is the Injustice League. At the cave, Aqualad and Robin are sparring. So far, only they know about.
You know they're a couple, right?
I believe I knew before they did.
The team is debriefed on the global plant attacks, and these plants were treated with a cobra venom variant. It comes to light that some of the previous incidents are related, and the villains are working together. Then the Injustice League reveals themselves, demanding a ransom of 10 billion USD.
Count Vertigo, the Joker, Poison Ivy, Ultra Humanite, Atomic Skull, Black Adam, Wotan.
Given the simultaneous attacks, there must be a central control system, so while the League deals with the plants, the team must destroy it. But guess who they will fight? Zatara locates it in the Louisiana bayou and the team heads out. However, the plants also unleash spores of Joker venom. Aqualad brings a duffel bag. Inside is Plan B, but they are attacked by Count Vertigo and Black Adam.
He's hurting her.
They exit the bioship, but are attacked again. Robin and Miss Martian go to complete the mission while the rest hold them off. However, our heroes are defeated. Meanwhile, Robin and Miss Martian find the target, but are intercepted by Poison Ivy and Ultra Humanite. The team is taken in a mystic cage, but are saved by the bioship. Robin destroys the central system. But the Injustice League overwhelms them. Using Plan B, Aqualad puts on the Helmet of Fate and fights Wotan, while the rest fights the other villains, during which Kid Flash's arm gets broken.
Hold still.
The fight ends when the Justice League arrives. Aqualad takes off the helmet thanks to Kent Nelson. So, are we feeling the Aster? No, as we finally see the true masterminds, the Light, consisting of Vandal Savage, Queen Bee, Ocean Master, Ra's al Ghul, Lex Luthor, Clarion, and the Brain. The Injustice League was just a scapegoat.
And shadows still conceal our light.
This episode is amazing as the team fights a league of supervillains and it reveals the true main villains. Episode 15, Humanity, my favorite episode this season. Tio Moro works on a disassembled Red Tornado and calls him the prodigal son.
And thank you for making our little family reunion possible.
At the cave, Wally's arm is still broken, so Captain Marvel acts as his servant. Next, Zatara comes, introducing the best girl, Zatanna.
I'm Robin. I'm Robin. She's Megan, and that's Wally, Artemis, Calder, and Connor.
Hey, I don't blame you. I love her too. She's here to visit.
Why don't you all take Zatanna on a tour of the cave?
And I love how the team talks telepathically right in front of her.
Are you guys having a psychic conversation? Because I can't decide if that's cool or really rude.
They haven't gotten over Tornado's betrayal, but the League doesn't let them do anything. Superboy asks Captain Marvel to take Wolf out for exercise. Why? Because they aren't doing a tour.
No, we're hunting down that robot.
Yes, we are.
So they kidnap Zatanna.
I can't tell. Not if you kidnap me.
Miss Martian lies to Black Canary about showing Zatanna Happy Harbor, and it's funny how she reassures Zatara.
Don't worry.
Next up is Tornado's origin. Many years ago, Moro built his own superheroes to infiltrate and destroy the Justice Society. The first two being Red Torpedo and Red Inferno, who thought they were human. However, Torpedo's crude programming caused them to not fit in, and Inferno's heroic personality got herself killed. As such, he made Red Tornado, who knew he's an android. However, his heroic programming and Pinocchio-like desire to be human made him betray Moro. Hugo Strange allows the team to interrogate Ivo, but he refuses to talk until
Twirl to a swarm eared Noida Cole.
Morrow's in a secret underground base beneath Yellowstone National Park, 100 meters south of Old Faithful.
This is why I love her. Meanwhile, Moro uploads all their memories into the most dangerous of the Reds, Red Volcano. He exists to destroy, with no concerns for humans, so he destroys Moro. The team heads to Moro's lab.
Look, I'm trying to be all nonchalant here.
Why? Be as chalant as you like.
And Superboy calms down.
Certainly he deserves a chance to prove he's more than the weapon others designed him to be.
Meanwhile, Red Volcano plans to activate a super volcano in 3 stages which will kill millions and trap the survivors under a cloud of ash. while they'll repopulate the Earth with a Red Army. Thanks to Ivo, he knows the team is coming, so he tells Tornado to prove his loyalty by killing them. He fights and defeats them with ease. By the way, her spells work by saying phrases backwards. However, it turns out to be a trick which Volcano sees through due to having his memories and his next-gen processor. Tornado retreats.
Zatanna?
I'm good. The red tornado's getting away!
Leaving the team to fight Volcano, but Tornado's memories allow him to anticipate their moves. Well, most.
Tornado never knew my moves.
And I bet you've got some good ones. Well, sorry, that may have come off a little too Wally.
I don't mind.
Then Volcano executes his plan. They try to stop him but are unable to until Tornado convinces Torpedo and Inferno to help. They hold Volcano under the lava but Tornado is saved. With the Stage 3 eruption coming, they work together to prevent a worldwide nuclear winter. We find out Tornado was never the mole. He left to protect the team from further attacks and to find Moro. He became their den mother to be more human and finds the real Moro. Now, on the way back.
So, good kidnapping.
Actually, yeah. Best ever.
First of many, I hope.
If my dad doesn't ground me for life.
But
she's grounded for life!
I love this episode mainly because of Robin and Zatanna's chemistry. The story is good, but these two, brilliant. Episode 16, Failsafe. The Earth is attacked by alien spaceships and League is wiped out, leaving the team as the defenders. They find a stray ship in the Arctic near Superman's Fortress of Solitude, which Superboy doesn't know about.
Connor.
No, it's okay. I guess there's a lot about Superman I'll never know.
They attack the ship and detach the weapon. The wolf is killed. Miss Martian connects it to the bioship, but 2 more ships attack them. Despite shooting them down, Artemis is killed.
They're dead! Every single alien, if it's the last thing I do!
Weird. You weren't like this when the League or Wolf died. They then head to the Hall of Justice to formulate a counterattack, where they find Martian Manhunter, somehow still alive, who has something important to tell them, but doesn't remember what. Then Wally finds the cannon emitting Zeta beam radiation, which only teleports, so he thinks everyone is alive, including Artemis. However, more ships attack and destroy the bioship, so they retreat inside. They teleport themselves to the cave, except Aqualad. With Aqualad dead, Robin takes command and finds the likely detention facility if everyone was teleported, the mothership. The team delivers a message of hope, a very good one.
We will rebuild and we will thrive. Never doubt and never forget. The Earth will never surrender.
The Martians sneak past security and Superboy acts as a distraction, allowing Robin and Kid Flash to enter the ship at the cost of his life. However, no one's there. They're all dead. They destroy the ship, but Robin and Kid Flash die. Another mothership appears and Martian Manhunter unexpectedly kills Miss Martian, waking her up. It turns out this was a training exercise. Martian Manhunter linked them up within an artificial reality. However, they didn't know it was doomed to fail. Knowing it wasn't real, they didn't grieve much when the League or Wolf died, but Artemis's death changed everything. Miss Martian's subconscious took control, making them think it was real and trapping Artemis in a coma. To stop him, Martian Manhunter went inside, but the emotions overwhelmed him. It wasn't until everyone except Miss Martian died that you could get a clear mind. Understandably, she's upset for putting her teammates in danger. However, although she can't be held responsible for this, Martian Manhunter realizes she has a far stronger telepathic mind than him, despite being untrained. Episode 17, Disordered. The team is still shaken up after the traumatic training exercise.
I know our virtual reality training simulation went badly, but I'd hoped the team would have rallied by now.
Dude, they're kids, and you should know how trauma lingers. Black Canary gives counseling sessions first to Superboy, but he storms off. A portal appears and out comes a flying car carrying the Forever People, who go to retrieve the new Genosphere. Speaking of sphere, for Artemis, she isn't affected as much since she died before it went wrong, but she's keeping secrets. It's best that she tells the team herself, but interestingly...
Right. Can you imagine what Wally would do with that?
Superboy flies Sphere around before meeting the Forever People who Sphere belonged to. They welcome him as an ally after finding out he didn't steal it. Next is Aqualad. He acted like a soldier and sacrificed himself, so he doesn't think he's fit to lead. However, the others also aren't fit, not even Robin, so he can't resign. Not yet. Now, the Forever People are new gods consisting of Seraphan, Dreamer, Moonrider, the leader Viking, and Bear. Their mother box, a living computer, tracks a stolen tech from New Genesis, a rescue drill being used by Intergang led by Whisper and Ugly to steal gold. A fight ensures where Intergang uses weapons from Apocalypse. Onto Kid Flash. He's acting nonchalant despite his reaction to Artemis's death.
Wally, you're in denial.
I'm comfortable with that.
The Forever People merge into Infinity Man by combining with the Source, and most of Intergang retreats. Oh, also,
she will protect us.
Who, Dreamer?
The new Genosphere.
Cool. Wait, Sphere's a she?
the technology supplier is Desaad. Now, the new gods come from two worlds: New Genesis, home of the gods of life, like the Forever People, and Apocalypse, home of the gods of anti-life, of which Desaad's the god scientist and chief torturer. And that's not mentioning his master. For Robin, he wanted to be leader, but hated sending his teammates to their doom. He wanted to be Batman, but not anymore. Not the part that sacrifices everything for the mission. The Forever People and Superboy find a stash of apocalyptic technology, but are ambushed by Intergang. They become Infinity Man again, but Desaad uses a father box to take control of him and orders him to kill Superboy and Wolf. Now, Miss Martian blames herself for the exercise going wrong, so she's afraid of using her powers.
You've turned white.
No! Oh, you meant Caucasian.
However, her powers are a part of her, so she should train to control it. Superboy is overpowered until Sphere latches on, allowing him to take control and defeat Intergang, though Desaad damages her. They repair her and want to take her back, but allow Superboy to keep her due to their bond. While Batman examines her, Superboy, despite seeing everyone die, felt happy as he got to know what it's like to be Superman, which he feels guilty about.
Admitting it is the first step.
This episode is great because despite being superheroes, they're also teens, a vulnerable stage of life. Episode 18, Secrets. The sword of Beowulf was stolen from a museum, which to use it requires someone pure of heart and an incantation.
Abanen awful Beowulf.
After overhearing the incantation, Harm uses the sword. Why can you use it? Well, it never said pure good, right? It's Halloween, so Wally, Megan, and Connor dress up as a werewolf, zombie bride, and mummy respectively for the Halloween dance. I love how 1, Captain Marvel wants to join, but can't, and 2, Wally flirts with Megan not knowing she's taken. Artemis and Zatanna arrive dressed as a vampire and a witch. Thanks to Zatanna, Artemis finds out that Connor and Megan are a couple. She gets upset given her crush on him, and decides to skip the dance, so instead...
Girls' night out.
At the dance, I love Connor's reaction when he sees nearly everyone dressed as superheroes. Robin and Aqualad discuss the mole situation with Red Arrow, Batman, and Red Tornado. Aqualad doesn't believe there is one since everyone helped in the fight against the Injustice League. However, Red Arrow and Batman suspect Artemis...
For starters, she's not Green Arrow's niece.
What? Well, yeah. In fact, she's related to...
Enough.
Miss Martian...
And the first time he met McGann was 5 months ago, when she stowed away on his last trip from Mars to Earth.
And Superboy.
We still know very little about what Cadmus programmed into their weapon.
So he could have been the mole without knowing it. As for Artemis, instead of talking about her frustrations, she prefers violence. She and Zatanna stop some crimes before being attacked by Harm, who was following them. Outmatched, they retreat with help from a little girl who only speaks the word secret. Harm catches up and easily overpowers them. Secret leads them to his house where he defeats them. At the dance, it's funny how Marvin plays a prank, making everyone believe there's a Martian invasion, but Connor sees him with his infrared vision, so they prank him instead. Artemis and Zatanna are captured but escape with help from Secret, who leads them to a grave. It turns out she is, or rather was, Harm's sister killed by him years ago. He became pure evil by killing the only thing he loved, his sister, so he can use the sword. After seeing her ghost, he claims to not be sorry, but she takes away the purity of his heart so he can't use the sword anymore, allowing Artemis to defeat him. Promising her a proper burial, she goes back into her grave. Now, Zatanna knows that Artemis is keeping secrets and urges her to tell her, but she claims to not have secrets. Oh, it turns out that Greta only mutters secret because that was the last thing she saw before she died. Episode 19, Misplaced. Clarion uses a gem to form a magical pentagram and summons 4 sorcerers, Waltan, Blackbriar Thorn, Felix Faust, and Wizard before chanting a spell. The team is unloading crates. Zatanna wants to join the team, but her father is overprotective.
I wish he'd just give me a little space. Dad!
I get it, but be careful of what you wish for. It's not just the League. Every adult has vanished, so only the team is left to help. Robin and Zatanna try to figure out what's going on and determine that sorcery was used, so they must use a locator spell, which now only Zatanna can pull off. Billy tries to teleport himself to the League, but the computer doesn't recognize him. On TV, the team asks the older kids to protect the younger ones while they find a solution. Zatanna locates the sorcerers in Roanoke Island. Billy finds and convinces Amber to fly him to Happy Harbor. But...
Wait, are you telling me you turned 18 at midnight?
I'll take that as a yes.
Now back to the beginning. We hear that Zatara is concerned about losing his only daughter.
I wish I could get used to the idea that she's growing up.
Again, be careful of what you wish for. This time, all the kids vanish. A riot occurs outside of Star Labs started by Lawrence Crook, sportsmaster. As such, nobody sees Riddler leaving the lab with a suitcase.
So all you're creating is a dangerous distraction.
If only you knew. Now, Billy is forced to transform into Captain Marvel, and it turns out the world has been split into 2, one with adults and one with kids. Only he can travel between them, and as such, the team knows that he's a kid. The team attacks Clarion while the adult heroes fight the sorcerers. With Captain Marvel's help, both sides know the gem is the focal point of the spell. However, Clarion is too powerful for the team to handle, so Zatanna puts on the helmet. They overcome the villains and merge the worlds back together. However, 3 strikes and you're out, because Nabu refuses to let Zatanna go, after releasing Kent Nelson to the afterlife. As he thinks with Clarion around, the world needs Dr. Fate. Until Zatara offers his body.
No, please! This was my fault! Dad, don't! Dad!
This episode almost made me cry because she lost her father not once but twice, and it shows that parents would do anything to protect their kids. Every kid reunites with their parents, except for one. The unfortunate reality is that victory tends to require sacrifice. The team helps Zatanna move into the cave, and I think I felt her pain. She got what she wanted, but at the cost of losing her father. To make matters worse, it turns out Riddler's working for the light, and inside the case was...
We will bring it into the light.
Episode 20, Cold Hearted, 11th of November. For most of us, it's another day, but not for Wally, cause it's his 16th birthday. He gets a big breakfast at home, his aunt Iris congratulates him live, and due to the snowing, school is also closed. He teleports to the cave just as the Zeta tubes go offline due to the weather, where the team hosts a surprise party, which he already knew. We get more chemistry between Robin and Zatanna.
You settling in here okay?
Oh yeah, just like home.
I know this is all very new and intimidating, but I promise you, someday, you'll get used to watching Wally eat.
Also, the look on Wally's face after being told that McGann and Connor are together before Batman calls. The extreme weather isn't natural, it's caused by 5 ice fortresses. The team must work with the League to destroy them. Except for Kid Flash, as with air traffic and Zeta tubes down, he must run 3,000 miles from Boston to Seattle to deliver a donut heart to a little girl. He doesn't want to, but knowing that he has to, he accepts. As he leaves, the others head out on the supercycle, aka Sphere, and the bioship. He picks up the heart from the hospital, which must be delivered within 4 hours for it to be still viable for transplant. He has plenty of time until Vandal Savage shows up, who he wastes 15 minutes fighting. He arrives at the hospital only to be informed that the girl had died 12 minutes ago before the doctor takes the heart. However, this was a lie, as the girl, Queen Perdita of Velatova, age 10, is still alive. So he takes the heart from the fake doctor, who is a henchman of...
That was nauseatingly familiar. Count Vertigo.
He aims to take the throne from his niece and is free due to his diplomatic immunity. The ice fortresses and Savage were all part of the plan. Vertigo tries to kill him, but he escapes and delivers the heart before collapsing. On the news, the fortresses are destroyed, but Queen Perdita is dead. Vertigo then makes the mistake of gloating.
It's called... You're busted, jerkface!
Count Werner Vertigo. As Queen of Latva, I hereby accuse you of high treason against the crown and revoke your diplomatic immunity.
He is sent to Bel Rev. You deserve it. Batman suspects the ice villains to be behind the ice fortresses, but they were in their cells. It's not shown, but they were involved. Previously, the Queen offered the sword, an heirloom of Velatova, to Kid Flash as a souvenir, but instead he kept the medical backpack. I love the development he goes through because yes, he's a goofball, but he matures and takes his superhero duties very seriously.
The man who finally figured out that the sweetest birthday present a lucky stiff like me could ever get was seeing that little girl smile.
Episode 21, Image. We see Black Canary kissing Superboy, but it's actually Miss Martian.
Don't you laugh! He and Oliver, this is not funny!
On Mars, this is common, but Canary goes to talk to Miss Martian to make her understand that things are different on Earth.
Just be yourself.
This is myself!
Before Batman calls, Rahman Harjavti, the elected president of Kurak, has allied himself with Queen Bee. He announces that Kurak and Bialia will reunify in 2 days. He would then step down and let Queen Bee rule. The Kurakis are against this, but nothing works. Queen Bee can enthrall most men and some women, but she hasn't left Bialia, and her powers don't work a country away, so they must find out who is behind this. With Aqualad absent, Robin is assigned as leader. They fly over the border where the Logan Animal Sanctuary is when Bialian tanks enter. Robin wants to ignore it, but the army has caused a stampede, endangering 2 civilians. They dispatch the army and save Marie Logan and her son Garfield. The boys head to the clinic while Marie and Miss Martian fix the fences.
Hello, Megan was a job. The person you saw on TV isn't who I am.
However, they hear planes coming and destroy them, though Garfield is hurt. He needs a blood transfusion, but no one has his blood type, O negative. Superboy's blood is Kryptonian, and hospitals are too far away. However, Miss Martian can change her blood type to match his, as her shapeshifting occurs at the cellular level. Also, she got a human identity and catchphrase from the show Hello Megan, and Superboy's name.
Connor!
Switch to a news station, we see Simon, who is the one controlling Harjavti. With Garfield's condition stable, they find Harjavti before Bialian troops come in with apocalyptic weapons. Miss Martian goes after Simon, who overpowers her, making her reveal her true form. The others defeat the soldiers and go to help, but she knocks them out, as underneath her cheerful front lies a fear of rejection.
Love you? I can't even look at you.
However, she responds by putting Simon in a mental coma. Queen Bee arrives only for Harjavti to sever ties with her, with Garfield watching, who now has green eyes. Queen Bee is actually Miss Martian, and that was to publicly shame her. Miss Martian tells the others how her life on Mars was not good until she came across Hello Megan, so she chose Megan as her human form. When they ask for her true form, regardless, they still accept her. She goes to check on her brother, but Queen Bee's there. using Garfield's life and her true form.
And if you don't cooperate, I'll make sure everyone knows what you really are.
This episode shows how scary Miss Martian is, just as she is cheerful with what she's willing to do to hide her looks. Episode 22, Agendas, occurs in 2 parts. First, at the Watchtower, the League discusses should the League expand, and if so, who should join. Martian Manhunter worries that expanding might lead to more villain groups like the Injustice League. As for candidates, they nominate Icon, his protege Rocket, the Atom, the smallest hero because small size can be useful too.
And Earth has a 3rd Green Lantern, Guy Gardner.
No.
But we could really...
No.
Blue Devil, Red Arrow, he's 18 and experienced, though he's uncooperative and disrespectful. Superman doesn't want the team inducted as they're kids, but Dr. Fate suggests Aqualad and Kid Flash.
And what of Zatanna?
Absolutely not.
Which makes Captain Marvel question his membership.
You coerced Zatara into giving up his life to you, or else lose his daughter instead. Not cool.
Plastic Man, questionable due to his criminal record. Now, most of the League just found out Captain Marvel is 10.
No one in the League knew the truth.
I did.
So, should he stay?
He does possess an adult body and the wisdom of Solomon.
Wisdom does not equal maturity.
Well, I know mature people don't always make the right choices.
A lie of omission is still a lie. You kept an important secret from us.
Thanks, hypocrite. She also didn't like that Batman made Robin a crime fighter at age 9.
Robin needed to help bring the men who murdered his family to justice.
To not turn out like him. As for age, what should be the deciding factor? Chronology or biology, like Miss Martian?
Though she is a biological adolescent by Martian standards, she was born 48 Earth years ago.
And Superboy.
He's less than a year old. Does he have to wait 17 more to stand beside us?
However, it mainly boils down to trust. With no more suggestions and after voting.
Then we are adjourned.
Now to the team. McGann and Zatanna prepare Thanksgiving dinner, though Zatanna's still upset over losing her father. Then Superboy gets a message only he can hear that tells him to go to Washington, D.C., where he meets Lexi, who tells him that Cadmus has created another super clone. He storms into Cadmus, but no one knows about it. Also, Guardian resembles Red Arrow, his nephew. Although the Xenomorphs are no longer treated as weapons, they still aren't free like Superboy is. Superboy looks for the clone himself and finds a hidden door. Behind it lies the clone, Match. He frees him, but called back to his own liberation, Match kicks his ass as he's stronger and can fly. The S on his suit got torn off, so he... It turns out Match was the first attempt at cloning Superman, but since they couldn't properly replicate Kryptonian DNA, he became insane, so he was frozen. However, with Superboy, they filled the gaps with human DNA, so he's only half Kryptonian and will never have full Kryptonian powers. As such, Lexi gives him shields, which will give him full Kryptonian powers by suppressing his human DNA for an hour. Then Double X directs him to Xenomorph City, where the missing Xenomorphs are, hoping one day society will accept them. Match is chained up, as no one else can know about the city. However, after seeing Superboy, Match breaks free and kicks his ass, until Superboy uses a shield, allowing him to beat Match. But it makes him angrier. When he finally calms down, Cadmus has discovered Xenomorph City, since Luthor was watching. Match is frozen again. Oh wait, one more thing. Remember Superboy has human DNA? Guess who the donor is?
Face it, son. You have much more in common with me than Superman.
That's a lie!
Surprise, guys, it's Lexi.
We're more alike than you care to admit.
I don't know about that.
Red Sun.
Superboy keeps the shields. Episode 23, Insecurity. In Star City, Black Spider tries to kill reporter Bonnell Jones, but is stopped by Green Arrow and Artemis. His daughter would go on to become a superhero. Artemis defeats him with a web arrow, poetic justice. Meanwhile, Sportsmaster with Stranger's help sneaks into Belle Reve and takes a prisoner with him. We see Ivo insulting Moro. Sportsmaster escapes in a truck with the prisoner, who is Ivo. The Ivo earlier is an android. Now, Red Arrow's been accepted into the league, but
please do me a favor, set a good example and join the team first.
Artemis tells her mother about her night, and we find out her mother is a former criminal who went to jail. It turns out Batman and Green Arrow visited her first, and she begged them to help Artemis, which gets her mad. Then Sportsmaster and Ivo meet up with Clarion, Brain, and Monsieur Mallah. Artemis enters the cave to see that Red Arrow's joined the team. With Robin and Batman absent, Green Arrow tells them that Sportsmaster was spotted at Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport. Aqualad, Kid Flash, Red Arrow, and Artemis head out.
You've made your own place on the team. You have nothing to prove. Well, not to me, okay?
Red Arrow is there as he suspects Artemis. They follow Sportsmaster and Artemis exits the bioship to look closer before Cheshire shows up, who we learn is her sister. They fight until Red Arrow comes.
You two are dating?
What? No!
She tells Sportsmaster that they're being followed. He gets a case thrown from a train while Cheshire breaks free and takes them down. Kid Flash arrives and claims her Psy as souvenir. Artemis is ordered to shoot a tracer on Sportsmaster, but is unable to, so Red Arrow does it instead. Red Arrow and Aqualad chase him, but he finds the tracer and stops their chase. Cheshire escapes, but Artemis managed to place a tracer on her sword, and with no one looking, she shoots one onto a train. She tricks them into following the train while she follows Cheshire. After Tornado leaves, Zatanna, McGann, and Superboy go into his apartment. Inside is a Christmas tree, and something resembling a human. Sportsmaster arrives at a warehouse and gives the case to Ivo. They perform experiments on the Echinodome. Artemis tracks Cheshire to the warehouse but is confronted by her, and Red Arrow placed a tracer on Artemis. A fight then ensues between her, Red Arrow, Cheshire, and Sportsmaster. At the cave, the human thing will serve as Tornado's alter ego, John Smith, so that he can learn more about humanity.
Ivek me snap.
My girl! The fight continues. Kid Flash arrives, and after the villains finish the experiment, they disappear. The mission failed. They learned nothing about what the villains are planning. Despite Artemis learning who Sportsmaster was working for, Red Arrow states that Ivo was in a cell the whole time. He accuses her of sending them on a wild goose chase, which Kid Flash assumes as her being insecure about Red Arrow joining them.
Keep the Psy. This is the right souvenir for the mission.
Red Arrow still isn't done with her. She returns home only to see Sportsmaster, who we learn is her father.
Time to switch sides, Artemis. You'll never be one of them. You belong with us.
The stakes are rising. Episodes 21 to 23 are the villains trying to subvert the loyalty of our heroes, and I love it. It's amazing. Episode 24, Performance, starts with a performance in Haley's circus performed by the Daring Dangers. It's actually the team on the cover. Robin is Dan Danger, Miss Martian is Dawn Danger, Artemis is Diane Danger, Red Arrow is Dane Danger, and Superboy is Dean Danger. Robin has been sweating with the flu that appeared to be going around in the circus. For context, advanced weapon tech has been stolen across Europe, and each theft coincides with stops made by the Haley Circus. So their mission is to go undercover, find and apprehend the culprit.
You've got the mission covered, but who's covering the 3 potential mole suspects you're bringing along?
After they finish and go backstage, Interpol agent King Faraday suspects Jack Haley to be the culprit and threatens to shut the circus down if he proves he's behind it. They gather at a warehouse and see the thief, so they confront him, but he blows fire which ignites the crates of live ammo, causing an explosion. They're forced to retreat. From the footage of the previous thefts, there seems to be more than one thief, who appear to be the circus performers. Since Haley lied about their alibi, Red Arrow suspects him, but Robin doesn't believe it. After Robin leaves though, things get heated.
Or maybe I take your head off without even trying.
They all leave too.
None of us are perfect, but each of us would give our lives for this team. So try to keep an open mind.
However, this isn't an official mission. It's personal for Robin, as he used to be an acrobat at Haley's circus, where he also lost his parents. So he wanted to prove Haley's innocence. As they pack their things for the next stop, Ray, another performer, touches Miss Martian's hand, and before you know it, she's caught the flu. They realize that Ray may be the source of the flu, and when they go to find him, Haley says that he's down with the flu. They search his cabin and find out he's behind everything, so they look for him. They chase him to the roof of the train. Ray turns out to be Parasite, who can absorb the abilities of others, weakening them. Parasite absorbs Superboy's powers. Since he used a shield, he gets heat vision and escapes. However, Robin managed to swipe a drive from him. They learn that he's working for Intergang and plans to make a device that can create black holes. The last piece needed is a particle accelerator, and one is located at the circus's next stop. Parasite starts the device, and they try to stop him, but it's hard as he has Martian and Kryptonian powers. However, he also got their weaknesses, which they exploit to defeat him, and shut off the device. Parasite is arrested, and Red Arrow now believes there is no mole. The next morning, Haley thanks Dan Danger, who he knew was Dick Grayson, and as a last favor, they do one last performance. Episode 25, Usual Suspects. Superman announces the induction of 5 new Leaguers. The team watches on TV inside the hall with their new member, Rocket. Problem: she joins very late, barely made any appearances. Heck, this is the first time she even has lines. I'm like, okay, I guess. Also, I don't like how she and Zatanna aren't in the opening. The new Leaguers are Dr. Fate, the Atom, Plastic Man, Icon, and Red Arrow. Also, Captain Marvel wasn't kicked out. The team heads out as Cheshire was reported boarding a plane carrying the case that contained the modified Echinodome. They now know there's a group behind the Injustice League. They locate the plane, well, what's left of it. Robin hacked the League computer so he got the alert first, and Cheshire is their unfinished business. Strangely, there are no bodies until Cheshire shows up with Riddler, Shimmer, Mammoth, and mercenaries with apocalyptic weapons.
I am shrubbery, not grass. What am I? I am bush.
A fight ensues, during which Superboy uses his last shield and viciously attacks Mammoth, which nearly gets Artemis killed. Despite the ambush, the villains are defeated and captured, except for Cheshire. They obtain the case and now know that Strange is involved with the villains. Now inside is some sort of biotech integrated with nanocircuitry, which is taken to the Watchtower to be investigated. The team was set up. Guess by who? Then Superboy receives a message from Lexi telling him to go to Santa Prisca. He, Artemis, and Miss Martian arrive there, and appear to have joined the villain's side. But prior to this, they actually came clean about their secrets. Superboy told the others that he's half human and has been using shields.
From my human father, Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor is your dad?
Lexi tries to take Superboy away to reprogram him until Artemis intervenes. She told the others about her family and how she didn't want them to find out.
I knew. Hey, I'm a detective, but it never mattered. You aren't your family. You're one of us.
Miss Martian also told them about Queen Bee blackmailing her and reveals her true form to them. They all step back, except for Aqualad.
McGann, did we truly seem so shallow?
And Superboy, who knew from way back in Bialia. She knocks out Queen Bee, and prior to this, she removed the Red Sun programming in Superboy so Lexi can't control him. The others soon come to aid them, and a huge fight breaks out. Although Lexi and Queen Bee escape, Robin takes out Bane with Zatanna's help. Superboy takes out Blockbuster. and Artemis takes out her dad after Cheshire leaves him.
Hey, disaster averted. Feeling the Aster.
However, the Aster is short-lived as Batman investigates the biotech. Red Arrow comes and places a chip on him, mentally enslaving him, same with all the other Leaguers. Batman activates the Zeta tubes that grant somebody access, and that somebody is...
Vandal Savage, A04.
Shockingly, it turns out Red Arrow was the mole.
I was the mole?
Episode 26, Old Acquaintance. Red Arrow is being chased by Green Arrow, The Flash, and Aquaman, but manages to escape. Batman tells the team that Roy Harper, Red Arrow, is the mole, and is a Cadmus clone. The original Roy was captured 3 years ago, likely dead now. Red Arrow was programmed to join the League, hence his behavior. Batman says that he found out before he could betray the League. After he leaves, Tornado shuts down, holding one of the biochips. Zatanna detected mystic energy from them.
Batman. He called us kids. He never does that.
They split up. One group gets Tornado back online by moving his consciousness into John Smith before Canary attacks them, but they subdue her. The others find Red Arrow. He was a sleeper agent, unaware that he's the mole, with his control phrase being Broken Arrow. The League's under Savage's control using Starro Tech, an alien starfish infused with nanotech and magic that shuts down the mind, which takes 0.16 nanoseconds, allowing Tornado to make a failsafe, aka the shutdown. It's body specific, so he's now free. Canary, Tornado, and Red Arrow teleport to the Watchtower unchipped, but Clarion knows, so Savage rechips them. Having lived for 50,000 years, he believes in survival of the fittest, and the League protecting everyone goes against it, which to him stagnated our evolution. Thus, he wants to accelerate our evolution and make Earth the center of the cosmos. However, Tornado shut down the security systems, so the team, using Curetech, takes out Plastic Man, Hawkman, the Atom, and Captain Atom. This alerts Clarion, and the three are immune to Starro Tech. They take out Hal Jordan, but are taken out after 6 Leaguers are recalled. Dr. Fate, Icon, and Captain Marvel are dealt with. Curetech doesn't work as fast as Starro Tech. They go to help the others, except with Zatanna, who tries to free her father.
I can save Fate from Savage, but I still can't save my father from Fate.
Aqualad helps Kid Flash and Artemis tag Green Arrow, The Flash, and Aquaman by opening the airlock. The remaining Leaguers are taken out with Hawkwoman, Jon Stewart, Wonder Woman's trapped, Miss Martian takes out her uncle in her true form. I love seeing Robin fight Batman and Superboy fight Superman only to get their asses kicked. By working together, they take out Batman and Superman by first weakening him with kryptonite. Savage and Clarion leave.
The light still needs the Justice League alive for Phase 2.
They did it, just as it hits New Year. We get intimate moments with Spitfire, Superboy and Miss Martian, Robin and Zatanna, Rocket and Aqualad. Superman finally accepts Superboy as family, and his reaction when he finds out they have the same surname. Red Arrow doubts his identity and vows to find the real Roy, unaware that the Light has raided Cadmus and taken Match and Roy. However, there's a bigger problem.
B6 went missing for a full 16 hours we can't account for.
16 hours. What did we do?
This leads to Season 2, Young Justice Invasion, which takes place 5 years after Season 1. Episode 1, Happy New Year. The team has undergone changes like new members and old ones leaving. The team's Delta Squad captures Clayface. Besides Superboy and Miss Martian, we see new members, and some of them we know. Tim Drake, aka Robin, Garfield Logan, aka Beast Boy, Jaime Reyes, aka Blue Beetle, and Karen Beecher, aka Bumblebee. Dick Grayson is now Nightwing, and the leader, cause Aqualad left after Tula, aka Aquagirl, died during the video game Young Justice Legacy. I won't talk about it much, as I haven't seen the full gameplay, and the graphics are atrocious. Nightwing wins in a spot against Lagoon Boy, and I don't like what they did with him. He's Miss Martian's rebound guy in this season. Yeah, Superboy and Miss Martian broke up. Mao is the team's mission control, as now on missions they go in squads given their expanded roster, and he and Karen are dating. Then the UNHQ is under attack from Lobo. Wonder Girl and Batgirl are sent to stop him. They fail and he kills the Secretary General, which is actually a robot, and inside is a little alien who he takes and leaves. We then meet G. Gordon Godfrey. I freaking hate him. He's basically trying to badmouth the heroes and make the public distrust them. Just like the team, the League has also undergone changes, like 2 new members, Zatanna and Rocket. The alien is a Krolataean, and they always travel in packs. Adam Strange, a Star Labs scientist responsible for maintaining the Zeta Beam tech, tells them how when he was working on the tubes, something went wrong and he was teleported to planet Ran, where he met a native scientist, Sardath. Some of his tech was stolen, and Krolataeans live off stolen tech. Sardath discovered that one transmission on Ran landed on multiple locations on Earth, and when he tried to trace them, he accidentally brought Strange to Ran, so he gave him a device that can detect where the Krolataeans are. They plan to raid every target on Earth, while the Leaguers will go to Ran to cut them off at the source. But there's a problem with the second part. For some reason, Leaguers are persona non grata, which means unwelcomed on Ran, with 6 of them being wanted criminals, the same 6 who went missing for 16 hours during Season 1. They must investigate, but the League can't go, so Nightwing must send a squad instead. He, Superboy, and Miss Martian all have open League invites, but they chose to stay on the team. Planning to hit all Krolataean hideouts simultaneously to destroy all Zeta tubes and rescue any abductees, Nightwing and Wonder Girl are in Alpha Squad, Batgirl, Bumblebee, and Wolf are Beta, Lagoon Boy, Blue Beetle, and Robin are Gamma, with Robin in charge. They find a huge lair under the waterline, but are spotted, forcing them to fight off the Krolataeans. Blue Beetle finds out that the base is set up to self-destruct along with the abductees. They rescue them and escape just in the nick of time.
That's right! Gamma Squad rules!
Gamma always gets the soft gigs.
The League arrives, very reminiscent of the first episode of Season 1, and I like it. Zeta Squad has arrived on planet Ran. Episode 2, Earthlings. On Ran, Zeta Squad and a Ranian woman are being chased. Superboy and the Ranian are separated from the others before a mech appears before them.
This is not how the mission was supposed to go.
Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back. We meet Sardath and his daughter Alana. They have trouble communicating due to a language barrier until Miss Martian links them up.
It will make communicating so much easier.
They haven't found out much about the hate for Earthlings, besides an incident on planet Rimbor involving the 6 Leaguers. Their science command is xenophobic, so Sardath didn't report the theft. To stop the Krolataean invasion, the Zeta Shield will be needed. It will stop them from entering Earth and trap the ones already there. While he finishes it, the others, in disguise, board a train to go to the Zeta Beam location in the jungles of Ran. But 2 Science Patrol members come on for a routine ID check. Strange offers to distract them.
Be careful.
I like it. Yeah, they haven't been there long, but hey, I'm a sucker for romance.
Beware the Jabberwock, my son! The jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jub bird and shun the frumious Bandersnatch.
Comment down below if you know where that's from. Now, things get a bit awkward between Miss Martian and Superboy until they disembark and find the base. They go in and plant bombs on the Zeta platforms. However, an incoming Zeta transmission blocks their escape route and adds more aliens, so they escape through the front door after the bombs go off. But they're spotted, so the Krolataeans bring out the mechs. While Strange avoids the police, they're attacked by mechs, leading to what was shown at the start. Superboy and Alana hide in a cave. Both sides decide to stay put.
It's complicated and weird.
Hey, I have a crush on an alien from another planet.
Who am I to judge?
He tells Alana about him and Miss Martian along with his origin and how he doesn't visibly age. Despite Miss Martian still having feelings for him though.
I dumped her. She left me no choice.
Meanwhile, it turns out the blood transfusion Garfield got in season 1 is what gave him his powers, though they don't explain why he can only turn into animals. He breaks down at a waterfall as it reminded him of his mother's death at the hands of Queen Bee. However, they're attacked and captured by the Krolataeans, who prepare to depart for their home planet. The others realize that Miss Martian's in danger when they can't understand each other anymore. Superboy and Alana take out the mechs and rescue Miss Martian and Beast Boy. He and Superboy damage the ship and leave before it reaches the atmosphere. Meanwhile, Miss Martian extracts information from a Krolataean which puts him into a catatonic state. Superboy's not happy about this, but...
I know what the Justice League did on Rimbor. I know what happened during their missing 16 hours.
Episode 3, Alienated. Our heroes continue to hunt the Krolataeans on Earth. Bumblebee and Blue Beetle chase one of them, disguised as Bibbo, until the real one cuts him off, but he manages to escape.
No, it would not have been preferable to vaporize him back at the diner.
And gets on a Manta Flyer. At Star Labs, Zeta Squad returns from Ran. The Krolataeans were there because one of them, who got his brain fried last episode, paid off a member of the Ranian Science Command. They stole tech from Sardath and landed another ship in New Orleans, hence how they started their invasion, though the reason for abducting and replacing humans is still unclear. Now the biggest matter at hand, the missing 16 hours. It turns out when Savage mind controlled the League, 6 Leaguers were teleported to Rimbor, where they rampaged for 16 hours, attacking everyone in sight, and announcing to the galaxy to beware the Justice League, which is what led the Krolataeans to Earth. Superboy and Miss Martian go to the Hall of Justice, where Martian Manhunter is interrogating the Krolataean captured in episode 1 of this season. Frying his brain in the process, she learns about their emergency base inside a volcano on Melina Island. The Manta Flyer enters the base, and the pilot is Black Manta's son, who we know.
Thank you, Father. Initiating Phase 2.
Our heroes go there to learn more about the Krolataeans' invasion plan before handing them over to the Green Lantern Corps. The Krolataeans are building a new ship to leave Earth. This is the one Bumblebee and Blue Beetle chased earlier. The heroes infiltrate the facility, but Aqualad spots and attacks them, forcing them to fight the guards and the Krolataeans, while someone plants a strange device.
Manta to partner. The base has been infiltrated. Abort operation.
Partner to Manta. The device is already primed.
Seeing the guards escaping, Delta Squad is called in to help fight the Krolataeans. Aquaman punches off Calder's helmet, revealing himself. He joined Black Manta, which Nightwing somehow already knew because of Tula's death. Her death and him finding out his heritage occur in Young Justice Legacy. Nightwing and Superboy confront him until they must retreat due to the bomb.
I'll get it out. No! Might have pressure or motion sensors.
Superman tries to warn the Krolataeans about the bomb, but they don't listen and pay the ultimate price. Also, I get why, but you got some nerve saying this when you're the invaders. The Martians downloaded some information. Our heroes are safe, but are left with more questions than answers. The bomb was alien, but the Krolataeans clearly didn't know about it. So was Aqualad helping them, or leading them to their deaths? Black Manta joins the light.
He's asking you to replace poor disgraced Ocean Master.
After bidding their goodbyes, the 6 Leaguers leave for Rimbor to stand trial, along with Hawkman and Icon. Episode 4, Salvage. A theft is stopped by Red Arrow, who collects the stolen money and takes a stack for himself. Unknown to him, Green Arrow is watching him. The Zeta Shield is activated, with team members watching. Nightwing's out on personal business, Lucas Carr is homeschooling Beast Boy. The shield doesn't block boom tubes or spaceships.
Boom tube. An alternate means of instant transport between distant locations. Not compatible.
Not compatible with what?
Superboy drags Jaime along for personal business. Now, Red Arrow is not in good shape, physically or mentally. He's like this because he's obsessed with finding Speedy when others have given up and hasn't accepted his identity as a clone. Green Arrow, Nightwing, Jim Harper, Black Canary, and Wally appears. Jim relates to him the most as he's also a clone of Roy and hence gave up being Guardian. They try to convince him that they couldn't find Roy because he's dead. Wally has retired, but he won't ditch his friends. Red Arrow's the one they fought with, and their friend, not Speedy. However, all he does is suggest them to salvage Aqualad's soul instead and leaves. Meanwhile, Superboy, Blue Beetle, and Wolf follow Whisper and Ugly because Superboy suspects Intergang to be involved with the alien bomb, given their history as alien tech traffickers, so he kept tabs on them, who are headed for the Hall of Justice.
Cannot scan contents. Not compatible. Not compatible again? What does that even mean?
You see him talking to himself every now and then. It turns out his powers come from the scarab, attached to his spine that comes with an AI, which he says was made by Ted Court, the previous Blue Beetle, who was killed by the light. Now, the scarab prefers violence, and pretty much always advises him to go for the kill, which obviously he won't. Ugly uses an apocalyptic device that hurts Blue Beetle's armor to reanimate and merge the Apalexian husks into one. He recovers after Sphere neutralizes the device, but he makes the mistake of using a sonic attack. They then leave. The Apalexians were a race of energy beings that attacked Earth 12 years ago. After the original 7 Leaguers drove them away, the husks became their first trophies. They find and jam the device, which makes the golem go berserk, and it walks towards a nuclear power plant.
You could deal with the interloper meat back in the clearing.
Happy to oblige, partner.
Blue Beetle restrains Ugly and Whisper before they go to stop the golem, but they find out that it's in pain after being granted life, so it wants to destroy itself to end the pain. Superboy wants to help it, but the partner fires a sonic blast and kills it. They go back only to find Ugly and Whisper comatose. Wally and Artemis are living together, both have retired to focus on studies. On the other hand, Red Arrow arrives home to see Cheshire, his wife. She tells him he must get his act together for their daughter, Leon Nguyen Harper, and to do that,
I got us a lead, Red. One last chance to find the original Roy Harper.
Episode 5, Beneath. A teenager skateboards to the bus depot. This is Tai Longshadow, friend of Jaime, who he calls since he's running away to Houston, as he's had enough of Maurice, his mother's boyfriend. He tells Tai to wait for him, and he does, only to be grabbed. Jaime arrives, but doesn't see Tai's skateboard. Now, the team's still investigating the alien bomb. They suspect that it was smuggled in via boom tube, and due to increased boom tube activity in Bialia, Alpha Squad consisting of Miss Martian, Bumblebee, Wonder Girl, and Batgirl go to investigate. It's all female because while Simon's still catatonic after his last run-in with Miss Martian, Queen Bee can control the minds of men.
Oh, really? And would you have felt the need to justify an all-male squad for a given mission?
There's no right answer for that, is there? So, Nightwing out.
Queen Bee isn't the only woman who can mess with a man's mind.
This is pretty funny. They find a heavily guarded place and move in, except Wonder Girl, who's on lookout as stealth isn't her thing. They sneak in and can only use the psychic link as radio can be intercepted. However, a truck pulls in with villains on board. One of them is Simon. She goes in and warns Miss Martian, who shuts down the link before splitting up to warn the others, but Devastation spots and attacks her. They fight and the base goes on lockdown, with Batgirl and Bumblebee in the vents. They find a huge underground temple thousands of years old. Batgirl scouts around and spots a cargo plane and pods with teens in them, before she's knocked out by Simon and placed in a pod. The villains load the cargo and prepare to leave, but Bumblebee overhears them and meets up with the others. Miss Martian takes out and impersonates Shimmer. Bumblebee flies into the plane to free and wake up Batgirl, as she's the only one there qualified to pilot it to safety.
Which is ironic since you're the only one on Alpha who can't fly.
Miss Martian seals the hangar doors and has a rematch with Simon. Batgirl starts up the plane, Wonder Girl rips off the hangar doors. Simon is taken down. As for High School Junior...
This is for breaking my heart in Bell Rev, Martian!
Uh-oh is right.
Wonder Girl fights off Devastation and Mammoth, who damages the plane's wings, so the bioship had to be summoned. It turns out Simon tricked the doctors psychically into thinking he's in the hospital when he's not, and Queen Bee was acting as a middleman, providing abductees, mostly runaways abducted after the Molina Island incident, to an unknown partner.
Good work, Alpha.
While this was happening, Jaime searches for Tai. First he talks to his mother at his house and encounters Maurice, an employee at his school.
They had an argument and Ty took off.
Ran off, like always, tail between his legs.
Wow, what a dick. No wonder Tai doesn't like you. He then talks to Ty's grandfather. Ty's not there, but it has one of the funniest moments between Jaime and the Scarab.
Only then will you make peace with the one inside you.
He knows too much. Eliminate him.
He suspects that Maurice hid Tai inside the tool shed, but inside were pirated DVDs and games. I love how the Scarab wants to kill him with a plasma cannon, but Jaime resists, though this isn't the first time he wanted to go for the kill.
I don't know where Shelly's punk kid is, and I don't care.
How about you go kill yourself? No one likes you. Jaime decides to turn him in for the pirated stuff. However, unknown to the heroes, Queen Bee got more captives, and one of them is Tai. Episode 6, Bloodlines. We first see two individuals, a bald man and a brown-haired kid. Switch them out just as we find out that according to the Krolitane intel they got from Molina Island before its destruction, it turns out the Krolitanes were abducting humans to use as guinea pigs to find something in them. Something called a metagene, which at this point they don't know what it is. Then the computer detects an unknown energy impulse and a machine appears, which I love this scene because 1 second it has serious music and then next second the music stops and out comes the kid we saw at the start. This scene here is quite fun to watch.
Well, I think we found our unknown energy impulse.
Impulse? That's so Crash! Catchy, dramatic, one word. Lubido's 2 words. Hey, is he here too?
Or should I say crash, as he says this word a lot. Nightwing sends Robin and Beast Boy after him, but he loses them in the funniest way until Nightwing subdues and cuffs him. Impulse's real name is Bart Allen, a speedster from the future and the Flash's grandson. As he's from the future, he sees through some things, like Nightwing giving him water to get his DNA and their secret identities. Also the way he speaks.
We can't risk altering the time stream. We do that, we're all feeling the mode. Always better to crash the mode.
When Mal arrives, he gets out of the cuffs and escapes. Through a tracker in the water he drank, they find that he's headed for Central City, where he meets his grandparents and the Garricks, who were celebrating their 70th wedding anniversary. Barry doesn't believe it as he thinks that he and Iris don't have kids until she says that she's pregnant.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Aunt Dawn.
Wait, there are 2 in there?
We're having twins?
He also meets Wally, his first cousin once removed, who Nightwing called. Then Barry receives warning of a supervillain and goes, despite Bart trying to stop him. He struggles against the villain, Neutron, until Impulse arrives to help. I love this moment where they discuss the plan of creating a wind funnel to contain Neutron, though they speak a little too fast.
You getting any of this?
Every 5th word, maybe.
They execute the plan, and it's also funny how Kid Flash gets lapped. We also see 2 unknown aliens controlling and monitoring Neutron. Neutron's energy increases so much that it causes a huge explosion, destroying his suit. Without the suit, he's more unstable, and Flash plans to get him to a desert. But Impulse trips him, saving him from being vaporized. They're saved by Jay Garrick and Kid Flash. Impulse then uses a pill to return Neutron to normal. He tries to return to the future, but the time machine's fried, so he's stuck in the past. He knew it was a one-way trip, and the real him is serious, unlike how he acts in the past. This man is Nathaniel, aka Neutron. He returns to normal, but it seems nothing else has changed. I love this, as you can tell this is a dystopian world. This is also when Red Arrow can get over himself. In Tibet, he and Cheshire chase after the lead she had. They break in and fight the guards. Behind a door, they find a cryogenic pod. Inside is... Episode 7, Depths. A new Earth-Mars communications satellite is being launched. As Nightwing requests, Artemis prepares for hero work. Wally isn't happy about it, as they want to leave that life behind. Now Impulse is staying with the Garricks, while Green and Red Arrow are watching over Speedy at Royal Memorial Hospital, but no progress on finding the Light's partner. Gamma Squad, including Artemis, enters. The mission is to guard the satellite launch, as people who dislike aliens might attack it.
So where are you going?
Let's just say that after running this team for a year, I'm peckish for a little action.
Carol Ferris holds a press con with Superman and Martian Manhunter there until Triple G comes in. I want to punch him in the face. I'm on board with the satellite idea. The two are actually Miss Martian and Superboy, who's just levitating to make it look like the League's still there. Gamma Squad is on lookout. Then Black Manta's ship arrives and missile launchers are prepared. We also find out why Superboy dumped Miss Martian. We saw what happens when she rips intel from the bad guys' minds. Superboy is not okay with it. He didn't tell the others as he thought he could make her stop. She responded by going into his head to make him forget that he was upset with her.
Connor, I'm so sorry about that.
Sorry you did it? Or sorry you got caught?
Girl, that's messed up. Lagoon Boy finds the launcher and attacks it. Although Miss Martian goes to help, he's taken down and captured. Meanwhile, a team of troopers invade the beach and have Nightwing and Artemis pinned behind the wall. Worse, with the fight going on, while Superboy stops the missiles, Carol shortens the countdown. Using the helmet's weakness to light, they jump over and fight the troopers until Cowder joins. Lagoon Boy is taken, but Miss Martian destroys the launcher. Cowder fights his former friends and kills Artemis.
28, 29, 30. She's dead.
They protected the rocket. Or did they? It turns out Black Manta smuggled a bomb onto it days prior, and it was all a test, which he passed. The team gather to mourn Artemis's death, except Nightwing, who's in a warehouse and meets up with Aqualad, Wally, and Artemis. It turns out they faked her death, and Aqualad left to go undercover. Nightwing gives Artemis a glamour charm he got from Zatanna to change her looks to everyone except them. As for how he got her without revealing anything,
We have a history, dog.
I wanted their relationship to last. She leaves with Aqualad. They're in, but it'll only get more dangerous. Will these two succeed, or is this water too deep for them? Episode 8, Satisfaction. Oliver and Clone Roy bring Roy up to speed with his replacement, the team, and the alien invasion. He remembers investigating a LexCorp shell company suspected of smuggling weapons to North Malaysia. He was captured by LexCorp goons. This was 8 years ago. He was taken by Lexi and the Light, who amputated his arm to get sufficient DNA to perfect their human cloning process. The result is Red Arrow, who Ollie found after 3 months. Now, Roy's fine with Clone Roy as he did nothing wrong and was the one who found him, but he's pissed at Ollie for giving up the search for him.
Get out. Get out!
He also asks Clone Roy to leave. Ollie thinks being mentored by him is a curse after what happened to his proteges, but Roy needs him, despite how he acted. They go back, but Roy's gone. The search for Lagoon Boy continues, and Aquaman has set all of Atlantis to look, but there's a lot of water. Mal wants Aqualad dead. Tim, Garfield, Bart, and Jaime are in the Grotto, a shrine for the fallen heroes, with statues for Jason Todd, Tula, Ted Cord, and Artemis. It was silent until Bart begins eating chicken whizzies, which he stole from Jaime. Jaime is also upset that he doesn't have a mentor.
You've been in this era like, what, 5 minutes? And already you have 3 Flash mentors. One who feeds you junk food.
They go hang out, which happens a lot, and there's a reason for it. Artemis's mother's still in mourning, and the guilt on Wally's face as he can't tell her the truth. From afar, Jade wants revenge on Aqualad as she loved her sister. But Sportsmaster...
The son of Black Manta cannot kill Sportsmaster's daughter, not without running it by me first. I can't let this stand, or everyone will think I'm a punk.
Go kill yourself. Roy enters one of Green Arrow's equipment caches and puts on his costume. Ollie and Clone Roy track Roy to that cache, but he teleports away after leaving a grenade that blows up the Zeta Tube, stopping them from following him. They find that he went to Metropolis to get revenge on Lexi. After observing Lexi, Speedy fires a RPG at him. It's Connor's birthday, which only Wendy remembers. Before, Megan would throw him a party every year. Speaking of her, she and Zatanna go to Raquel's bridal shower. Dinah, Cassie, Karen, and Barbara are also there. Lexi takes a briefcase and goes to a car park where Speedy ambushes him, only to be attacked by Mercy. Then Captain Cole tries to steal money until the ladies prep up.
I'm completely doomed, aren't I?
100%.
Speedy vs. Mercy is one of my favorite fights in this show. It's very impressive how he fights and holds his own against her with just one arm. And it's great. He wins using detonation cord to blow off her arm. He wants to do it to Lexi, but Lexi gives him the case.
What is it you really want, son? Revenge or satisfaction?
Green and Red Arrow arrive and find Speedy. Inside the case is a cybernetic arm, and he takes a different name.
But I kinda like the sound of Arsenal.
Episode 9, Darkest. Aqualad must complete another mission to prove his loyalty to the light. After he sedates Lagoon Boy, he assembles a strike team, consisting of Icicle Jr., the Terror Twins, and Tigress. Jr. tries to hit on Tuppence, but fails. Impulse arrives at Jaime's house to chillang with him.
The Impulse is trouble. Destroy him. Overreacting won't help.
To keep his secret identity, he equips his armor and they head out. Mal wants to spend time with Karen, so he joins her in the lab, but gets bored and leaves. Now, Lagoon Boy is brought to the partner, and we see 2 aliens who seem to be of the same race as the aliens controlling Neutron. He's then brought to a lab where we see a female scientist, Shimmer, and the kids we saw in Bialia. Impulse and Blue Beetle are hanging out until they're attacked by Aqualad's team and get overpowered. But they soon break free. Blue Beetle manages to repel them.
Or, since they outnumber us 4-2, we could recommend tactic strategic retreat.
Impulse sees Aqualad and takes the device he used to track Blue Beetle. He brings it to the cave. A stupid move as it disables the cave security, allowing Aqualad's team to sneak in. Spear doesn't fight. Tigress puts a collar on Wolf. Beast Boy gets punched in the face. Superboy hears them coming but is taken down by Junior and Tommy. I guess they got their revenge.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
Impulse just bounces off Tuppence and Tommy puts a collar on him.
Oh, no speed. I'm moded, aren't I?
As for Nightwing...
Sorry, no superpowers for your collar to turn off.
But the taser works. Aqualad appears with the same type of bomb that destroyed Molina Island, forcing Blue Beetle to stand down. They take Impulse, Beast Boy, and Blue Beetle. The Scarab disables the collar and takes control as Jaime refuses to fight back. However, he's taken down by Aqualad and Tigress. To prove his resolve, Calder orders Tigress, who is Artemis, to detonate the bomb. Nightwing, Superboy, and Wolf are safe. Wally meets up with Nightwing. It turns out Aqualad injected a microscopic tag into Lagoon Boy, and during the raid gave Nightwing a drive, which they'll need to rescue the captured people. He did what he did to keep his cover. Wally is furious with his best friend.
The cave was just a place worth sacrificing if it helps us stop the invasion.
This isn't what you said in season 1. Sacrificing the cave is one thing, but endangering your team is not what a leader does. Heck, that's not what a hero does. It gets so bad that Wally actually doubts Calder's loyalty, given how much Calder's been through.
Isn't it possible Aqualad might actually be a traitor? A triple agent?
Of course, Wally doesn't care about the cave either. He's worried about his girlfriend. It paid off, however, as Calder is welcomed into the light and prepares to meet the partner. But with Mount Justice destroyed and 4 members captured, the team's facing their darkest moment yet. Will they prevail, or will this extinguish their light? Episode 10, Before the Dawn, we see a flashback where Jaime is heading home until he's caught in an explosion at Core Industries, which is when he first encounters the Scarab. It attaches to his spine and he becomes Blue Beetle. Then he wakes up and sees 2 aliens, the scientist and the ambassador. The Scarab's memory files for only the last 8 months can be accessed since it fused with Aime.
Admit it. You just enjoy playing with the meat.
Recognize his voice? He killed the Apalexian Golem. The ambassador gives Aqualad a tour of the ship. These guys are the Reach. We also find out what the metagene is.
A genetic marker indicating the potential of an individual human to survive catastrophic physical trauma by adapting new abilities.
They're trying to isolate the metagene by stimulating dormant powers in average humans. They also study how subjects with active metagenes react to stress as they hope to duplicate and weaponize their powers. As for Blue Beetle,
he may be human, but he is of the Reach.
At a loading dock, a group of teenagers are in a Y-mesh pen which Robin, Batgirl, and Bumblebee infiltrate.
Why should we trust? Okay, never mind.
She goes on to become Spoiler. They're placed in pods and taken on board the Manta Flyer, followed by the bioship.
They're leading us to Lagoon Boy and the others.
How can you be sure?
Wishful thinking?
Of course, Nightwing lies to her.
The abductee shipment at the docks. How'd you know about that?
Aquaman came across the intel while searching for Lagan.
Now, Blue Beetle's supposed to be the Reach's advanced operative on Earth, but his Scarab isn't on mode, so the other aliens suggest rebooting it, which involves removing it. This will kill Jaime. The team finds the Reach ship, which has a similar design to the alien bombs and Blue Beetle's armor. Miss Martian goes in. She and Alpha Squad find most of the captives. Bart and Gar are freed, which triggers an alarm. Impulse goes to find Blue Beetle. In the docking bay, the troopers and Tigress are taken out by Superboy, just as the captives arrive. Miss Martian and Beast Boy come across Aqualad, who she brain fries. A huge mistake, because she finds out about the undercover plan.
Again, what have you done? I thought he had killed you. That he deserved.
Tigress takes Aqualad away while Black Beetle confronts the team. Despite outnumbering him, Black Beetle's too powerful and takes them out one by one, though the way he takes out Wonder Girl is savage. Impulse rescues Jaime. It turns out somehow the Reach will get him on mode, causing him to betray humanity and help bring about a Reach apocalypse, so Bart came back to stop it. Blue Beetle opens the bay door and with the Scarab in control, fights Black Beetle, though he regains control, but even he's getting overwhelmed. Shimmer vaporizes a piece of the ship, causing the bay to flood. Everyone's on board the bioship, except Blue Beetle, who gets knocked into the ocean, where he's then rescued and they escape. The mission is a success. Well, mostly.
She totally nailed Aqualad.
However, the Reach goes public as Earth's friends. A huge lie, but at least now they know what they're up against. A lot is revealed in this episode. The Light's partner, the metagene, the true origin of the Scarab, and why Impulse is here. Episode 11, Cornered. We see a spacecraft, and on board is an alien who learns about Earth's champions. Captain Atom welcomes the Reach before they go to have a private meeting. The rescued abductees are at Star Labs. I love how Impulse annoys everyone.
Oh, sorry.
Black Canary consoles and debriefs them. After Ty comes out, next is Virgil Hawkins, who DC fans should be familiar with. Nightwing brings Superboy, Miss Martian, Mao, and Wolf to a warehouse.
On the outside, I mean, it's downright nasty. And it's nasty on the inside, too.
Those who lived at the cave will stay here temporarily, and the Hall of Justice will serve as their temporary HQ. Mao doesn't want to stay here, so he goes to the hall. Superboy and Miss Martian go too to collect their salvaged belongings. Mao wants to stay at Karen's place, only to be brushed off. However, they're interrupted by L. Ron, who activates a force field around the hall and then confronted by
the Warlord Despero, gladiatorial champion of 92 star systems.
He attacks Captain Marvel and blindfolds Zatanna's mind. Superboy and Bumblebee go to help. The comms and Zeta tubes are down. Superboy fights Despero while Bumblebee tries to wake Zatanna without success. At the UN, Captain Atom accuses the Reach of abducting people, which the ambassador says he's confusing them with the Krolataeans, but not before revealing that the Leaguers are wanted criminals and have a covert team. The military and Black Lightning can't break the force field, while the heavy hitters inside are getting their asses kicked. Miss Martian joins in, but she can't stop him, and she refuses to brain blast him. Out of options, Captain Marvel uses his last trick.
Oh man, I really thought that would work.
And gets stunned. Impulse didn't tell Black Canary about the Reach apocalypse.
Now kill the Impulse so he cannot change his mind.
Keep quiet.
Exactly.
Despero beats the shit out of Superboy, and the statue of Guardian is knocked over. Superboy is down. McGann refuses to attack, so Bumblebee goes, but gets stunned, though she shoots Despero's eye. Before he can crush her, Mao arrives.
He is not listed in the Krolataean database, Master, but their records may be incomplete.
The League knows the Reach created the Scarab, but they can't control it, so Canary thinks that Beetle is the best weapon against them. Mao buys time for the others to come up with Plan B. McGann refuses to attack psychically. Mao and Superboy get subdued. McGann wakes up the stunned heroes. Zatanna possesses Mao and stuns Despero with his own power, allowing Superboy to take him down. Billy destroys Elron, who starts a self-destruct sequence, destroying the hull, but our heroes are safe. They still can't break the force field until the ambassador does, but...
Yet you still have your other headquarters, the one in orbit above us now. What is it you call that one? The Watchtower?
John enters his apartment, but it's actually McGann. She doesn't answer Lagan's call, and Superboy comes to talk. Despero's taken by the Reach, which Captain Atom couldn't refuse, especially with their secret revealed. But they now know the deal with the Metagene, and the Rimbor incident is what brought the Krolataeans and the Reach to Earth. However, Blue Beetle tells them about the Reach apocalypse, so he wants the Scarab removed. Episode 12, True Colors. The Atom and his protege Bumblebee go into Jaime's body to remove the Scarab. However, it starts releasing antibodies, which forces them to retreat and repairs the damage they did. They're extracted from Jaime's body.
Jaime, I don't believe that Scarab is ever coming off. Not while you live.
Mr. Triple G's still a dick and says how the Reach has partnered with Lexi to make LexCorp Farms to increase food production. Nightwing sends Alpha Squad consisting of Robin as squad leader, Blue Beetle, hey, the Scarab hasn't betrayed them yet, Impulse, and Arsenal to investigate. The warehouse is their HQ, as the Watchtower is only for League and senior team members. They join a tour and are introduced to vitamin-rich, Reach-enhanced produce, not genetically modified. They take a few, and...
What's in those tubes?
Just water, nutrients, and a little Reach/LexCorp love.
They take a bathroom break. Sportsmaster meets with the Light and wants Calder's life as compensation for Artemis's death, which they won't give. So he tries to attack Black Manta but is stopped by Deathstroke, their new enforcer. He escapes with Cheshire's help, and as he's free from the Light's influence, they can seek their vengeance. After everyone except security has left, Alpha Squad suits up.
Where exactly did Ow! Thanks.
After hacking the cams, they go into the basement and find an assembly line. After learning that the Reach is using an additive, Robin gets a sample, but before they leave, Arsenal blew up the lab as he didn't want to risk Lexi poisoning everyone and wanted to make him miserable. This alerts Lexi of their presence and they're attacked by Black Beetle. Despite their efforts, Black Beetle's too strong for them to handle, even with a plasma cannon, though the laser does a bit of damage. Blue Beetle doesn't give the Scarab control again due to Impulse's prophecy. Black Manta wants revenge on Miss Martian and Simon will piece Calder's memories together. Bad news. Alpha Squad tries to escape, but Black Beetle finds them before they meet Green Beetle, a Martian who seems to be on their side. Together, the two Beetles take Black Beetle out, allowing them to run. Since they don't know him, Green Beetle stays at Jonathan Kent's barn.
My name is Ba'ar's Aum.
According to him, the Reach sent out scarabs to planets with life. The scarab bonds with and takes control of the host, giving the Reach an advanced operative for their invasion. Blue Beetles doesn't do that. Green Beetles seemingly doesn't either. The League will need to confirm this. The mission is a success despite Arsenal's stunt. Green Beetle senses that Jaime wants the scarab removed.
But I am here to tell you, there is another way.
However, LexCorp Farm's most profitable item, a line of fruit juice drinks, is still intact.
Amazing how one little bottle contains everything the body needs.
Somehow they expected the team to get a sample of the additive, and seeing how effective the team is,
We really must form one of our own.
Episode 13, The Fix. The undercover mission has gone wrong, very wrong, as Simon will help fix Calder's mind, so he may find out about their plan. Worse, Manta plans to deal with Miss Martian, who must read Green Beetle's mind to confirm his story. She's hesitant, but she's the only one who can. However, she's afraid to dive deeper, so he volunteers his memories.
Green Beetle is on our side.
Not convincing. Tigress shoots a sedative dart at Simon, who becomes dizzy and attacks her. He finds out she's Artemis but passes out before he can talk. She says that Miss Martian left a telepathic virus in Calder's mind, so she offers to capture her, with Deathstroke's help. The Reach drink contains an additive which contains a dopamine polymerase and an adrenaline inhibitor that over time will addict the population to the drink and make them placid. Green Beetle adds that it also contains a mitochondrial marker which traces the metagene, allowing the Reach to find people with metagenes. But with the League's low credibility, they can't go public with this yet. Lagan and Miss Martian talk about their relationship issues, but are ambushed by Deathstroke and Tigress. She tells Miss Martian that she needs her help to fix Calder. The fight ends with Lagoon Boy injured and Miss Martian captured. Apparently, Bahaz used his Martian powers to control his scarab, so Jaime wants him to do it for him, despite the risks. Manta forces Miss Martian to fix Calder's mind, and Deathstroke will blow her up if she tries anything. To help with the fix, she and Artemis go into Calder's broken mind, but are attacked by Tula. Lagoon Boy wants to go save Miss Martian, saying he won't abandon her to Calder, so Nightwing tells them about the undercover plan. Both are mad, especially Superboy. Due to Nightwing's secrets, Megan fried Calder's brain, which he didn't know about, so her, Calder, and Artemis' lives are all at stake. Inside Calder's mind, Megan struggles, continuing to blame herself. Artemis finds Aqualad with a blank face and convinces him that his memories can be fixed. Megan apologizes to him and they work together to fix his mind. They're making progress as Calder recognizes his father, so he lets Miss Martian continue. But
she's safe until she finishes repairing my son. Then she dies.
While Blue Beetle's scarab...
The scarab. It's silent. I'm in control now. 100%.
Episode 14, Runaways. At Star Labs, Tai, Asami Koizumi, or Sam, and Newt watch as Virgil's powers are being tested until he demands a break. Eduardo Dorado Sr. is arguing with his son, Eduardo Dorado Jr., or Ed. They're sick of the tests, so Ed wants a cure, but Eduardo wants to prove his theory that the metagene is opportunistic in nature. He worked on the Zeta tubes, and Ed got teleportation powers. Ed said it was a mistake to run away from Argentina to be with him.
You won't have to, cause we're busting out tonight.
Amazo body parts salvaged from the hull are Zeted in for temporary storage. After they're done for the day, Newt tells them that running is a bad idea as they can't control their powers. But they don't listen, so he hits an alarm, locking the place down. By the way, Sam's Japanese and can't understand English. She has heterochromia iridis. However, Virgil didn't have a plan. He suggests Ed teleport them.
Haven't you been paying attention? I can only teleport myself, and only along sight lines.
Then he suggests Ty remove the roof.
Wrong! I don't know how to activate my thing. It just happens.
They take down a few guards and we see Sam's chi powers. The building then loses power and so they run. Nightwing sends Jaime to convince them that Star is the safest place, as Ty is his friend. They're at a bus depot as Virgil wasn't a runaway. He was taken while waiting to meet his sister at a train station. So his plan is for them to go to his hometown, Dakota City. However, some guards approach and Ty unleashes his astral form before running with his friends. He wakes up before Blue Beetle arrives and reveals his identity. He explains how he got his powers, but they refuse to go back.
Ty, what's the alternative? I let you run loose until the Reach snatches you up again?
Shitty plan.
We're headed to my parents' place, so they can...
Get hurt or killed trying to protect you? That's your plan?
Also a shitty plan.
Hi, I'll help you.
Dude, you speak Japanese?
Scarab translates. Don't ask.
Jaime offers to take them to Green Beetle. The Zeta lab is attacked by Red Volcano, who destroys the Zeta tube. He's there for Amazo. Nightwing sends Jaime to stop Volcano, which the others overhear. Ed wants to go help his father. The others join too, though Sam doesn't understand. They arrive to see Blue Beetle getting buried. Ty focuses and summons his astral form to save Jaime. Volcano can't find Amazo's head, and before he can kill Eduardo...
You teleported with another person?
I was... motivated.
Sam and Virgil can't take him until Ty grabs him, but is taken down. Beetle uses sonic blasts against Volcano, but it also hits the lab, and he doesn't stop, so the others go to save the people. Also, when Volcano traps the runaways, he keeps attacking. They free themselves, but are not happy about almost being sacrificed. Beetle drills a hole in Volcano before using a sonic blast to destroy him. While he's distracted by the meteor, the runaways run away. He then talks with Green Beetle before being joined by...
As Green rebooted your scarab to control the meat inside.
The runaways return to the bus depot where they meet Lexi, who arranged the power cut, the press arrival, and Volcano's attack. Blue Beetle has become a Reach agent, and despite working with them, Lexi felt he's being used, so he offers to protect and help the runaways. Episode 15, War. On Rimbo, Superman tries to convince the court that they were under Savage's control, which they don't know why. They're interrupted by news of the Reach's arrival on Earth. Millennia ago, the Reach were conquerors who fought against the Green Lantern Corps, leading to a treaty signed with the Guardians of the Universe, stating that the Reach could only claim a world if invited, and no Lantern can return there. In the shadows, Savage tells an alien next to him how the Reach controlling Earth's meta-population can have long-term implications on who will rule the galaxy. The alien then leaves the room. The Watchtower detects a huge object, which the Reach also detects and knows. They demand him to reverse course.
Request denied. It is because the Reach is on Earth that I am here.
Green Beetle says that it's the War World, a massive artificial satellite. It's a doomsday weapon made millennia ago by a now extinct alien race, reactivated by a once-lost crystal key found by Mongol, who can control it with his thoughts. Mongol was the sole dictator of his home planet, but was ousted by another, so he plans to retake his throne by first taking over the galaxy. He sees Earth as a threat to his plan. The War World's approaching and begins to have a gravitational impact. The ambassador says that despite having only one unarmed ship, they'll stand by Earth's side. Captain Atom wants to negotiate, but Mongol activates the Warworld's laser emitter to destroy Earth, though it's intercepted by Dr. Fate. Rocket, Captain Atom, Captain Marvel, and Green Beetle also arrive. While they have Mongol's attention,
because the team's already inside.
Alpha Squad goes to take out Mongol, Beta goes to take the Crystal Key, Gamma goes to disable the power core, Delta lays cover fire outside. However, they get spotted and fight off the drones. Alpha arrives and fights Mongol, but are all taken down. He fires a bunch of missiles that overwhelm Earth's defenses, forcing the Reach's fleet to immobilize. Earth is safe at the cost of 2/3 of the fleet. Gamma reaches the power core. I love how Karen and Mal were arguing about their relationship issues.
Love a lady I can count on.
All right, I get it. I'm a bad girlfriend.
Beta finds the Crystal Key, which the Reach sees through Blue Beetle's visual. Bumblebee reroutes power to Mongol, which disables the drones and dazes him, allowing Alpha to take him down. Blue Beetle takes the Crystal Key. The team regroups where Mal and Karen fix their relationship issues. Suddenly, Blue Beetle takes out Impulse, Batgirl, Beast Boy, Guardian, and Wonder Girl. Arsenal, out of fear of being captured again, opens the hatch, sucking Sphere and the oxygen into space. Robin, Bumblebee, and Wolf are taken out. Arsenal escapes, and Superboy takes a hit for him before being taken down.
Quite the value indeed.
Episode 16, Complications. Progress on Calder's recovery remains slow, but in reality, he's fully cured. They're stalling to find a way to save Miss Martian. But complications arise when Manta gives her an ultimatum: cure Calder in 24 hours or die. Nightwing arrives at the War World, demanding to know what happened to his team. Blue Beetle lies that they had Mongol captive, but a boom tube opened, sending everyone away except him, who flew on instinct. Traces of boom tube activity were detected. The League guards the key chamber and the Beatles go back. Further complications arise as Cheshire and Sportsmaster infiltrate the Manta sub to pursue their revenge. Artemis excuses herself for a break, but Cheshire breaks into the room. McGann defends Calder and tries to tell her the situation, but Deathstroke shuts off her powers. Manta is notified of the intrusion and sends reinforcements, while Sportsmaster sneaks around. Tigress reaches the control room and searches for the collar controls after dismissing the troopers. Manta also heads towards his son's room but is forced to fight Sportsmaster. After keeping the troopers out, McGann uses a laser blaster to destroy the cam. She's taken out, so Aqualad drops his act and says that Artemis is alive, but Cheshire doesn't buy it. Next, something I wish we had more of. Nightwing investigates the War World. He finds gulges left by Blue Beetle's staples, the destroyed airlock, and Robin's Birdarang with traces of the Scarab's nanites on it. Tigress disables Miss Martian's collar and goes back, but is ordered to fight Sportsmaster, while Manta goes to his son, only to get taken down. Miss Martian uses her powers to connect the minds of herself, Cheshire, Tigress, Aqualad, and Sportsmaster, where she reveals the truth behind Artemis's death.
You're not really buying this. It's some kind of Martian illusion.
Why am I not surprised? Tigress convinces him with a move he taught her. He's pleased that she's playing Manta and the Light. She asks him for a favor. They work together to maintain Artemis's cover. Sportsmaster destroys the control room to erase any trace of what Tigress did. Before he and Cheshire can leave, Deathstroke confronts them. He and Tigress fight them until Miss Martian arrives.
And, sorry, about what?
Allowing her and them to escape, Jade picks Leon up and brings her mother good news about Artemis. Aqualad's also recovered, but there's some bad news for our heroes because Blue Beetle is publicly praised for basically single-handedly saving Earth from the War World.
The power of the Reach. The power to save the world.
Episode 17, The Hunt. Unknown to the League, the Reach has set up shop inside the War World. Mongols' attack costed them most of their fleet, which the humans discovered. However, the team's captured. Well, most, as one is currently running, and he calls for the team's help after his dickhead move. During a press con, a girl asks why the League didn't stop the War World.
They seem to attract so many outer space bullies to your planet.
Like you? They also promise to safeguard and not enter it until humanity is ready to control it. The runaways are destroying things related to the Reach.
But I'd rather get a handle on the scarab that turned my man Jaime into the Reach's little blue puppet.
Until Lexi calls. On board the bioship, Nightwing and Miss Martian continue the search for the abducted team members. Arsenal is still evading Reach soldiers. Lexi gives the four a father box which can track Superboy so they can go to the war world and rescue the team. They're initially reluctant to go, but decide to go as they have the elements of surprise and they owe them. Sam opens a boom tube that takes them there, where they take down a few Reach soldiers before reinforcements arrive, which they also take down. Ty's astroform is...
More like laser resistant. Those beams stung.
Sam uses the father box to track Superboy with Arsenal following them. Nightwing searches the docking bay again, where he and Miss Martian blame themselves for the team's abduction.
Save the team, then save Blue. As a certain 13-year-old was once fond of saying, that's just what we do.
They're joined by Sphere, who can take them to Superboy. The ambassador is informed of the runaways' arrival on the war world, oblivious to Lexi's role in this. They locate the team, but Black Beetle confronts and takes most of them down before Arsenal comes to help. On his show, Mr. Triple G confronts the ambassador.
But on planet Earth, we call it a bald-faced lie.
Serves you right. While Arsenal and the others fight Black Beetle, Deathstroke arrives to take the crystal key. Arsenal frees Mongo, who fights Black Beetle, and using the distraction, the runaways free the team. Arsenal finds that the crystal key is gone, but takes back the team's equipment. Nightwing, Miss Martian, and Sphere show up before they escape. The runaways have potential to join the team, but we need to deal with someone.
Last thing I remember is you blowing an airlock without warning. Nearly got us all killed and absolutely guaranteed our capture.
Nightwing thanks Arsenal before kicking him off the team. He deserves it. But the runaways disagree, so after offering him a place with them, they go back to Earth through a boom tube. After seeing Lexi, Arsenal realizes that he used the runaways as a distraction so Deathstroke could steal the crystal key, and they respond by...
No more promises.
Episode 18, Intervention. Mongo and Black Beetle continue their fight until Green Beetle arrives. The two beetles manage to lock Mongo inside a stasis cell. The crystal key's gone, and they can only guard the key chamber's perimeter, as they are not authorized to attack the Leaguers. The team reaches the warehouse and now must free Blue Beetle, who in Metropolis defeats and turns Toyman over to the police before being interviewed.
Why am I still waving? Look, an idiot!
He's the reason why the public hasn't turned against the Reach. Impulse and Batgirl observe him. Miss Martian picks up Lagoon Boy, whose leg has recovered, as a chance to talk. As Blue Beetle goes back to Jaime's home, Batgirl grapples him, giving Impulse the chance to dislodge his rocket pack. However, he still subdues them, but before he can kill them, he gets trapped in Rocket's energy bubble, which is then reinforced by Zatanna's spell.
There are no known countermeasures against this specific combination of magic and cooperative technology.
Take that, suckers! Miss Martian breaks up with Lagoon Boy as he's a rebound guy, which he doesn't take too well, but at least she has come to terms with herself. Now, remember the Bialian facility our all-girls squad entered a while back? Well, the team takes Blue Beetle there, but are attacked by Devastation, Mammoth, and Shimmer, though they're easily defeated. They enter the temple also found a while back, where Zatanna enters a mystical trance, but are attacked by Green Beetle. Impulse and Batgirl struggle to hold him back until reinforcements come with Beast Boy, Bumblebee, Wonder Girl, and Robin. Zatanna summons the power of Isis, who embeds a beetle emblem on her forehead. After reconstructing a mosaic, they start the ritual, and after Impulse gets both beetles where they're needed, a bright light envelops them. After the scarab from Zatanna's forehead breaks, the ritual is complete, and both beetles are back in control of their bodies. For real this time.
This scarab far prefers our partnership to being slaves of the Reach. You know, I believe you.
Now here's what's going on. When the team found the temple, Batgirl recorded the blue scarab images and hieroglyphics, which Dr. Fate translated, revealing an ancient ritual used 4,000 years ago to cleanse the scarab of Reach control. It's a human ritual which Fate can't perform, so Zatanna was prepped. Meanwhile, Robin and Batgirl found out that the temple and the scarab were discovered by archaeologist Dan Garrett in 1939. Believing it to be a mystic artifact, he used it to become the first Blue Beetle. After he died, he left it to his protege Ted Kord, who realized that it's alien tech and wasn't fond of fusing with it. He still became the second Blue Beetle just without superpowers. Suspecting that the light wanted it, he fought back and was killed, which led to Jaime becoming Blue Beetle.
Making sure you stayed hero was the main reason I came back to the past.
Well, you succeeded. Miss Martian and Lagoon Boy reached the warehouse. However, it turns out Queen Bee actually ordered the villains to throw their fight against the team.
Now the Light's plans for the Reach, the League, and the team may proceed on schedule.
Episode 19, Summit. In an underground cavern, the Reach and the Light meet for the summit. The Ambassador, the Scientist, Black Beetle, and some soldiers on the Reach side. Savage, Ra's al Ghul, Manta, the Brain, Calder, Tigress, Ubu, and Monsieur Mallah on the Light side, with the other members conducting damage control. Now, the Ambassador isn't happy about the Light letting the team access the Scarab Temple, but then again, they didn't tell the Light that they sent a Scarab here in ancient times. The Reach's plans haven't been going well with their low public approval, low Reach string sales, and failure in keeping their captives captive. As they basically view the Light as their slaves, the tension causes Black Beetle to attack Manta, leading to a fight, during which Ra's notices Tigress's glamour charm. Calder stops them and both sides stand down. However, during their conversation, Ra's rips off the glamour charm. After being outed as traitors, Deathstroke kills Aqualad and Artemis. After Aqualad dies, a pre-recorded message plays, revealing that the Light's been betraying the Reach. As we know, Savage wants to make Earth the center of the cosmos, and use the Rimbo attack to bring the Reach here. The Light kept the Mediteans away from them, added a neutralizing agent to their drink, turned public opinion against them, and allowed the team access to the temple. The alliance breaks down, and after hearing that Savage has the crystal key, Aqualad and Artemis reveal themselves to be alive, as Deathstroke is actually Miss Martian. Unlike the villains, our heroes have true friends. The Brain seals off the exits and opens the roof, allowing dozens of shadow agents to drop in.
Still, you refer to us as children. No wonder our successes mount. You consistently underestimate us.
3 of them are Blue Beetle, Lagoon Boy, and Beast Boy. A huge fight breaks out, which we don't see Nightwing fight much this season. 3 more shadows are revealed to be our heroes. Savage summons Clarion and they get away. Black Beetle then kills Ra's, so Ubu escapes with his master's corpse.
I so want to kiss you now. Or maybe kill you for putting us through all this.
Then we have father versus son. Lagoon Boy saves Miss Martian. I love how while running, the 2 speedsters talk about Impulse becoming Kid Flash after Wally goes back into retirement. Impulse disarms the Brain and Beast Boy takes down Mallah. Aqualad continues to fight and ruthlessly defeats his father. The Ambassador and Scientist are intercepted by Blue Beetle. After declaring the Ambassador unfit to lead, Black Beetle escapes with the Scientist. The fight ends, and despite having loose ends, they crippled the Reach and broke the Light in half.
No more faking anyone's death for at least a year, okay?
As the summon was holographically recorded, the lead can be cleared. The best moment for the 3 original sidekicks since their Cadmus outing. However, it's not all good news, as on the War World, the Reach soldiers are teleported away through a boom tube, and the Leaguers are attacked by Savage. Just as Aqualad is back as leader, they're defeated. The War World activates and flies off into space. With new evidence against the Reach, the UN has officially decided to kick them off Earth. They will leave Earth, but have left behind evidence of them violating their treaty with the Guardians of the Universe.
Not after we destroy the Earth.
Episode 20, Endgame. With nothing more to offer, the Leaguers are found guilty on all counts. Superboy, Miss Martian, and Adam Strange arrive with new evidence, but they're too late. Before the Reach can leave, the team attacks their ship. With the Ambassador gone, Black Beetle will now kill our heroes. Aqualad, Blue, and Green Beetle arrive. While the Beetles subdue the Reach agents, Aqualad fights Black Beetle but is overpowered. Green Beetle uses his tendrils to reset Black Beetle's scarab, but he uses the link to send a surge of energy that destroys Green Beetle's scarab. Back on Rimbo, despite the new evidence, the court has already ruled and want more, a bribe. Improvising, Superboy and Miss Martian says that this is a chance for them to show that truth and justice prevails. This means more disputes will be brought here. More cases mean more wars. Black Beetle tries to destroy Blue Beetle's scarab, but Jaime and the scarab are now friends. Together they use a tendril and kill Black Beetle's scarab, but Blue Beetle learns about the Reacher's plan to destroy Earth. Beetle drones and red devices appear that shroud cities in darkness and cause natural disasters. These devices are magnetic field disruptors, or MFDs, each guarded by beetle drones. They are causing a deterioration in the Earth's magnetic field, which is causing the natural disasters, and upon reaching critical mass will go chrysalis, which will destroy Earth. How to stop them?
I don't know, because Black Beetle didn't know. There's no failsafe. This was an endgame.
Then Lexi contacts them. LexCorp has made an anti-reach software, a virus that can disable the MFDs. Miss Martian apologizes to Superboy and wrongly assumes that he's dating Wendy, who is actually dating Marvin, giving her hope. All charges against the League are dropped. Superboy, Miss Martian, and Adam Strange go back to Earth. In Metropolis, 40 heroes are gathered. Blue Beetle has located 20 MFDs, so they will be working in duos. Blue Beetle works with Lexi to make Reach Tech eggs containing the virus. While one hero distracts the drones, the other will touch the egg to the MFD, which will plant the virus.
You really think we can trust Luther?
It's his world too. Pretty sure he doesn't want it reduced to space dust. Besides, we don't have much choice.
The Leaguers head home when Savage declares Earth off limits to all invasion, as he has control of the war world. Meanwhile, Lucas Carr coordinates all 20 squads. After saying that he trusted him, Aqualad and Lagoon Boy work together to disable the disruptor. In Paris, the city of love, Kid Flash and Artemis work together to disable the disruptor.
Omega Squad has...
Omega Squad, repeat transmission.
Virgil works alongside Black Lightning, who offers to be his mentor. However, it's not over, as Blue Beetle locates a 21st MFD in the Arctic that was hidden from his previous scans by the Earth's north magnetic pole. The Flash and Impulse scope and find it, but it has gone chrysalis. It starts to destabilize the Earth's magnetic field. A vortex forms, and now the two must run counter to its energy flow, which will siphon the energy using their speed trails, but it requires a massive amount of kinetic energy. Kid Flash then Zetas off. They run after being told not to slow down until the chrysalis has stopped, but their efforts only weaken it until Kid Flash joins. It works, but Kid Flash's slowest speed is making him an exit valve for the chrysalis energy.
In 16 seconds, he will cease. Cease? Cease what?
After being hit with more energy, he fades away. They stop the chrysalis, but Wally...
He loved you.
The Leaguers return and see a destroyed Mount Justice. I love how this time the team arrives. The crisis has passed. This isn't their first sacrifice, and it won't be their last. Fun fact, this episode ends on the same dates the pilot episodes took place on. The Reach leaves to stand trial before the Guardians of the Universe. It's over, at least for Jaime, as there's a new issue. Secretary General Tseng has resigned, and Mr. Triple G promotes Lexi as his replacement. Captain Atom turns over chairmanship of the League to Black Canary. Nightwing's taking a leave of absence after what happened to Wally. Bart becomes Kid Flash to honor Wally's memory, and Artemis decides to stay as Tigress, as Artemis was Wally's partner and she needs a change. Virgil joins the team as Static, with the others quitting the game. Also, Tim and Cassie have become a couple.
It was kind of a life is short thing. It gave Cassie the courage to kiss him.
After what the team accomplished, they've earned the right to operate out of the Watchtower with the League. However, their work isn't done. Superboy, Miss Martian, and Beast Boy will go to Mars to help Green Beetle. Tigress, Kid Flash, Bumblebee, and Guardian will find proof that LexCorp is bringing out the Reach drink under a new name.
Business as usual.
The rest will investigate Batgirl's lead on Savage, who arrives on Apocalypse and meets with Darkseid.
Business as usual.
That brings us to the end of Season 2. Now I won't be doing character reviews in this video as there's still Seasons 3 and 4 left. On to my final thoughts. I love this show. I enjoyed it the first time I watched it. It works so well as a show that focuses on the younger heroes and their growth. I definitely like Season 1 more than 2 with the smaller group of characters, but again, they're not perfect as I have minor problems. like Rocket barely getting any focus, and some of the characters' actions and decisions in Season 2. Of course, the thing I hated the most is them not exploring Dick and Satana's relationship. I don't care what you guys say, but I hated this. I love their chemistry. It's such a missed opportunity. But it's still a great show. Anyways, next time, back with Super Sentai, this time with Maho Sentai Majirenja. Stay tuned, and if you enjoy my videos, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below your thoughts on seasons 1 and 2 of Young Justice. TFX out.